Assalamu alaikum.
Walaikum salam wa rahmatullah. Who's that?
JK.
JK, how you doing, bro? Welcome back.
What happened?
I don't know, bro. It just ended.
It happens with your channel a lot, though.
Yeah, I don't know why. Strange. It wasn't me.
So, what's your thoughts on the previous part?
As I said, I think it's important that there is somebody there breaking down barriers. And what better place to do it than Speaker's Corner with all the cameras that broadcast it globally on YouTube.
I agree. I think that she's a very articulate person, and she seems to have knowledge as well. So
Yeah,
she seems very suitable for the role.
yeah. This hangout stuff is giving man insomnia. Yeah, exactly. My goal was to just stay on from finish at midnight. Look at the time. Oh
Man,
dear.
I'm doing an all nighter anyway.
Yeah, I don't want to go.
I'm writing a paper. Oh,
Why are you on here, bro?
having a break, man. I've been doing it all day.
Okay.
It's got 1,000 words more to do.
You put the link out there again. Yeah. I'm thinking about should I stay on?
Have they not jumped? They're not jumping over.
Don't know. Let me see. Not sure, bro. I've sent the link. If they want to click it, they can. Where did you see the link? In the back chat or in the YouTube? Khorasani Yoon, I've added you as a mod before and you abused your status as a moderator. Should I add you back? If you can behave responsibly, then I'll add you. Last chance. There we go.
Yeah, to answer you, I got the link from the back chat of the previous panel.
Nice one. Abu Mujahid wrote 10 words the other day when he stayed awake in that school. Fighting.
He was going back and forth with Mr. Amaz.
Yeah.
It was quite hilarious.
Who was going back and forth? What? Or
Abu Mujahid and
Abu Mujahid.
Mr. Amaz. He was doing this, Mr. Amaz jumped on our panel. And that last time, when we were talking about something, and he jumped on and he started going crazy about Maulid.
Hey, look, I've got one dislike on this video already. Can you believe it? Probably me. I dislike my own videos sometimes. Mr. Amaz was on his way to the school.
To the school?
Oh, Abu Mujahid's school.
Oh, man.
Probably to confront. Mr. Abdi says number 2. What's number 2 mean? Oh, we got three dislikes. That's it. Come on, get some more in.
Must be go live. He started blocking people.
Go live. Go MI5. Just mention MI5 and he'll turn up. Oh, the likes have taken over. 4-2. So somebody's sorry, what's the word?
Reversed.
Reversed, yeah. What do you call it when someone somebody's undisliked their video or disliked their whatever.
Disliked. I don't know.
They've now liked.
Are they still going at it in the other?
Probably, probably.
I
People
think
do
I'll
get
put.
carried away. Yeah, they are. No, I can't see.
Yeah, they are. They are. It's 10 of them.
10.
Yeah, that's what it says.
Should I kick them all out?
Wait, why is Crimes of Britain in there for?
He was there earlier. That's why.
I know, but it looks like he's still there.
Well, he's probably in the back chat, but not in the voice section of it. Isa says sometimes he falls asleep and wakes up to them. Yeah, you know that.
I've never done that.
Kilowatt says he was going to cane Abu Mujahid. Abu Mujahid, looks like you got a bit of a schooling this evening. You agree?
Me?
No, Abu Mujahid got schooled tonight. It looks like.
It was a good discussion, though. It was a very good discussion. I like how it was very respectful and it was flowing very well. Some people just can't have normal debates and they find it difficult to disagree with someone.
Yeah, true. Yeah, they generally let each other finish their points without interrupting everyone. That is, when I say they, I mean everyone. See, people asked me to make them a mod. I made them a mod. How many of them do you think said thank you when I made them a mod?
Let me see. Nobody did.
It's true. Nobody said thank you. What's the hadith? لم يشكر الله من لم يشكر الناس. Something to that effect. He has not thanked Allah who does not thank the people. Kilowatt says, I think Abu Mujahid and the sister in the veil both made some good points. Isa from Pony says, I said thanks, although I bribed you into it. Yeah. No worries, bro. We should thank you, Isa. Yes, we should thank you. You actually made an appearance on the panel.
What was happening yesterday with that guy called Mahmoud?
Oh, did you hear that? Mad. I don't know. He was chatting bare nonsense on Raspek's channel.
I used to see him at Speaker's Corner, and he wasn't that bad. And he's sending pictures of the knives and.
Was he sending pictures on knives?
He sent a picture in the back chat of him holding a knife, like a selfie.
Don't know, bro. That was mad.
I don't know. I don't actually understand what happened. I came halfway through. Then I saw a picture of this hairline thing, and man.
Why so religious?
Howdy, y'all. Howdy.
Back in the house. Isa Frimponi. Isa, you got to come on and talk to Why So Religious. Come back on the panel, bruv. You got to talk to him. You'll like him if you haven't met him before. I don't know. You'll get on like a house on fire. What happened was delusions of grandeur.
Turn it up. Assalamu alaikum.
Wa alaikum salam wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.
Hey, reactionary.
Yo.
Please make dua, bro. The kids are sick again. My parents are sick again. I'm scared that I'm going to get sick again, bro.
Oh, subhanAllah. Same sickness? Same thing?
Yeah, bro. The flu, man.
Bro, you got damp in your house or something? What's going on?
No, man. You know, it's Florida, right? So, it goes around, really, around this time of season.
Yeah.
Because the seasons are changing, you know?
Yeah, true.
But, man, I'm scared as hell, man. I bought a whole bunch of humidifiers for the house and everything.
Wow.
I heard there's
But
cannibals in Miami. Is that true?
cannibalism?
Yeah, cannibals. Like people eat people.
Nah, man. There was a story back in the day. There was a guy that it was a true story though, but he tried something called Molly. You ever heard of Molly?
I heard of
It's
salt
like some kind
baths.
of yeah. It's like yeah. It's by what you just said.
Oh,
And
Molly. Yeah, well, I know what Molly is. It's like a party drug.
yeah, but they have what's it called the salt bath salt in it. And
Oh right.
the guy took that and he started eating people, bro.
Crazy.
He was just attacking people and just started eating them. I was like, what the hell? And you know what's funny is that I had just ordered black salt on Amazon and I canceled it. I was like, let me cancel bath salt real quick before it comes to my house.
So do you have a lot of Cubans in Miami?
Yeah, there's a lot of Cubans in Miami. Um, a lot of Cubans, Dominicans, and Puerto Ricans
Yeah.
in
It's by the
Miami.
coast, isn't it?
Yeah, but I'm from Chicago, so Chicago's more. I'm just here just a few months when I go back. So,
Is Chicago in Canada?
It's in Illinois.
oh, bro, so I don't know it's Chicago, bro.
Oh, sorry, bro.
Michael Jordan, man. Derrick Rose.
Bears, Bulls.
I hope you don't take this to offense here, but no, I just hate everything to do with the USA.
Nah, I don't.
Come on, man. What are you talking about, bro?
There's something about just the USA, like that just gets me angry, bro.
You know what's nice? You know what place is nice? Colorado, Denver.
No, you know what's the best place? I'll
Nice
tell
and
you what's the
cold.
best place. I'll tell you what the best place is. San Diego,
Wash.
California.
I forget.
Yeah, I've been there. I've been there.
Have you?
Yeah. I
San
think
Diego
Nice.
has one of the best weathers in the
yeah.
United States.
I
My
think
I like.
favorite
anyways,
place in California, apart from San Diego, I guess, was Malibu.
Yeah,
Yeah,
yeah. See,
Melville.
There's a place called Pepperdine University. So that area,
Mm. I'll tell you what my place in California is called Big Sur.
Malibu's nice, bro. Sorry,
Big Sur.
big.
Big Sur.
So
Bigsur. If you Google that place, that's my favorite place. I used to take the whole family there in the summer, and we rent a place out there for the whole week. Nice trees, nice open area. You know, you'll get that oxygen. Nice beach right there. You can ride horses. Nice masjid. You know,
when you gonna
and
make
you just
hijrah, akhi?
have you been to
huh?
Compton,
When you gonna make hijrah?
Inglewood?
Yeah,
Inshallah, bro, that's my niyat, man. I sent my parents out there already to do Hajj. And I'm thinking about going out there now too. I went through a lot of stuff medically, so I wasn't able to go. But now, inshallah, I'm ready to,
make hijrah.
make hijrah, inshallah.
Hajj. You're talking about Hajj, not
Yeah, I'm talking
Hijrah.
about Hajj.
Hmm.
I'm talking about Hajj.
Oh, you're not gonna make hijrah?
Hijrah.
Hijrah to where, brother?
I feel like any Muslim who visits the USA has to have an excuse.
To have an excuse for what?
But DJ wasn't visiting. He's not visiting the USA. He's
Yeah,
from
but
there.
what about you two?
I'm born and raised in Chicago, bro. What are you talking about, man?
You're good, bro. You were born there, innit?
What do you say?
JK,
Yeah, what do you say?
JK, and reactionary are a bit
Yeah.
suspicious.
About what?
Going to America
Yo,
just for whatever reason.
hey, you know what's funny, guys? Check this out, right? Anytime when someone used to come from India or Pakistan to the U.S., right? You know where we used to take them? Y'all gonna laugh. Niagara Falls, bro. That was the spot to take everybody that was fresh off the boat.
You're
You know, I
trying
mean
to
that's
push them in.
yeah. They'd be like, okay, let's go take them to Niagara Falls. I'm like,
Yeah.
damn, we tired to go see Niagara Falls every year, man. Shit.
Where is that? Where is it?
It's
In
New
Canada.
York. Yeah, well, there's two sides. There's one on the U.S. side, and then on the Canada side.
Which
East
state?
Coast.
Yeah, it's by Buffalo, New York.
Oh, New York. New York doesn't have
Yeah,
a border with Canada, does it?
New York
yeah, it does.
State, yeah. It's long.
Oh, right.
Yeah, you gotta go through Buffalo,
Buffalo.
Buffalo.
and then you
Buffalo,
can go through
Buffalo,
Detroit as
Buffalo,
well.
Buffalo, Buffalo. Yeah, Buffalo, Buffalo, Buffalo,
Yeah,
Buffalo,
Buffalo,
Buffalo.
Buffalo, New York. Or you can go through Detroit, Michigan. That's the
Forget
other
that.
way.
You must be mad.
Yeah.
That's dangerous.
It's amazing how much we know about the US.
I like
Detroit,
Yeah, man.
Motown, the
Motown. Oh,
Pistons, the
Detroit
motor
Pistons.
industry.
Wow, man.
Eminem.
It's a real good reaction there, man.
Yeah, man. Magic Johnson, Michigan.
Michigan.
Yeah,
Michigan.
Detroit's in Michigan.
Who's
Michigan.
that?
Michigan.
It's a
Michigan.
state.
It borders Canada, isn't it?
How many states do you
Yeah, yeah,
guys
border
know?
Canada.
50
They got
states.
We got
51 states.
50.
51
51.
states.
Is it
Wow.
50 or 51?
I think it's 52 now, man.
Yeah, it was 51.
Puerto
How
Rico,
many
we
Bro.
forget
how many
Puerto Rico.
stripes on the stars and stripes?
I think it's 50 stripes still on the American flag, though.
Oh, how many
But
stars then?
two of them are like like Puerto
No,
Rico is
bruv,
one of the
it's
states.
20 something stripes. It's not 50. 50 stars. And the stripes
Yeah,
is like
50 stripes
20.
and 13. No, there's 13 stripes.
What do the stripes mean?
The
50 states,
colonies,
I
the
was
13,
right.
13 colonies.
Okay.
It's 50.
The,
Why so said it's
the
50?
13 colonies and 50 stripes.
50
50
states, yeah?
stars. We got 50 stars. But we have more than 50 states. We have Puerto Rico as a state as well now.
And Hawaii.
Yeah, and Hawaii. And Alaska.
Oh,
Puerto Rico isn't a state.
it's
Puerto Rico's
occupied territory.
yeah, it's occupied territory of the U.S. So
Okay.
they have U.S. passports and everything now too.
They got Miguel Cotto. So,
What's the coldest state of America?
Colorado.
Well, Chicago. Chicago's about to have it's gonna be colder than Antarctica this year.
Surely it's Alaska.
Yeah, Alaska's cold. Michigan, Chicago, New York.
Yeah, we were talking to Aaron the other night. He said that the temperature there in New York was minus 20.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
Fahrenheit.
Like
Or
Fahrenheit.
was that Brother Abdul? One of them. I don't remember. One of them
Fahrenheit.
said that.
yeah,
Fahrenheit.
that's what I'm saying. Like CNN said that Chicago's gonna be colder than Antarctica this year. So think about that, bro. You know how cold that is?
It's Fahrenheit. It's not degrees Celsius.
No.
No,
In
we go by
Celsius,
degrees.
it was minus 20. In
In New York
Fahrenheit, it
Yeah,
City.
was something like 5. Yeah, 5 degrees
yeah,
Fahrenheit.
yeah. In the U.S. we go by degrees, not Fahrenheit.
I mean, you mean Fahrenheit. Oh, what?
We go by
Yeah,
degrees.
so they had 5 degrees Fahrenheit, which worked out to about minus 20 in Celsius when we checked it.
That's crazy. I like cold weather though.
Bro,
Yeah,
when
if
I
you got the
used to,
right clothing, it's fine.
but when I was younger, I'm not tropical. When I was younger, when it used to snow, I used to have the AC on, right? And when people used to come to my house, man, they used to wear jackets inside the house.
Mm.
That's how cold it used to be. Because I just love that cold, feeling. But now in Tampa, man, I got the AC on all day, man.
I was in Philadelphia in the winter, and it snowed like crazy.
Sixers.
Mm.
I saw the
'76.
Why?
photos.
Why were you there?
For education, Mr. whatever your name is, Abu Mujahid, sorry. Yeah, for
W-
education.
Why?
Philadelphia.
According to your teacher, Abu Talha, that's permissible. It's an acceptable reason.
Abu Talha's my counterpart.
He's your
Your
count, is it?
counterpart. He's
Mhm.
your counterpart.
Mhm.
What's that
Okay.
little conversation you had with Abu Talha the other day?
Which one?
Abu Mujahid.
Yeah.
Yeah, he was like, "Shut up, you waste man. Go away,
Yeah.
man." What was that
Mm.
about?
Abu Talha said that to you?
No, he said it to Abu Talha.
Really?
Yeah, man. What's going on?
Bro, I don't like them guys, man.
I thought he was your
Well,
counterpart.
Yeah, my counterpart,
Oh, you
not
can't.
my.
Yeah, yeah, right,
yes.
right.
Counterpart, yeah.
Yeah.
How cold is it in the UK today, guys? It was snowing
Is
on
it,
my way up the road this evening.
yo,
Like snowing hard.
he's Abu
Snowing
Tal's
here
It
as
must be
well.
yang.
pretty cold. Hmm?
Abu Tal's is yang to his yang, or yin to his yang.
Yin to his yang.
Yep. Ain't that right, Abu Talib?
Mm-hmm.
He's your yin to your yang.
Who?
Abu
Abu
Talib is your
Talha.
yin to your yang.
My gang?
Ying to your ying.
You into your yang.
No, man. We guys are. Basically, I'm angry at them guys because I feel like they hijacked the concept of jihad and made it for themselves when really they don't even understand
Mm.
how it really works, and that's really
Where was this
annoying.
conversation, Abu Mujahid?
It's
Was
on
it on
Go
Go
Live.
Live? Go
Yeah,
my type.
No wonder.
They let you on there
I
now?
was,
they no, they don't really let me on, but I just
no,
go on.
they haven't accepted you yet. They
Bro,
haven't
I ain't
accepted
trying to
you
be
yet.
That
accepted.
French dude keeps interrupting you whenever you talk. It's so annoying.
No, no.
I just don't care. I just don't
Bro.
care.
No, let's
Dude,
not
he got
backbite,
I,
man. Because
he always says actually,
Yeah.
and then just
leave it, leave it.
interrupts you, and just
a
interrupts you.
Don't talk
People
about
can't
him.
reaction.
talk.
Don't talk about him.
Reaction. Reaction. I'm still laughing at the time when you offered him to go to the country that you want to go to, and
Yeah,
he got happy. He thought you were serious, right? He was like,
I
"Oh
was
my God,
serious,
shut up,
bro.
guys!" And he was
Honestly, I
going. He
was
was,
serious. I was willing to
bro. He
pay
was
for
telling
his
everybody.
tickets, everything.
No, he was telling everybody, "Shut up!" Like, "Shut up! We actually gonna pay for our tickets." Yeah, I'm like, "Damn, he's looking at fares right now. He's looking at
Bro,
airline
he
tickets
thought I
and
was
everything."
kidding. They thought I was joking. I was serious.
You know they're not gonna leave, bro. They're too comfortable where they're at.
Mm.
Who remembers when Grey Dunya refuted Western religion?
Oh yeah, that was a legendary.
The what? What did
Grey
you read today?
Dunya, Grey Dunya, he smashed Pakistani atheists as well. Do you remember that?
Oh yeah,
That
Great
was
Would
dunya?
it be
hilarious.
Wow,
easy
mashallah,
pickings?
man.
two atheists in
Mashallah.
one night, bro.
Yo, you know who I smashed?
Who?
You
I
smashed
smashed
your boy.
I matched
Saida.
that dude Yahweh. I matched that dude Yahweh.
Who's that?
The guy named Joshua Yahweh.
No, no.
He goes
He's
by Yahweh.
American. Well,
He's from
he lives on
Chicago.
some Caribbean island where they speak North Atlantic American
No. He's
English.
from Chicago, bro. He's from Chicago.
Yahweh.
Yahweh.
No
Yeah,
way,
he's from
bro.
Chicago. Yeah,
Yeah,
he's from
but his
Chicago.
accent is North. No, he's from
Yeah,
the
he's
Caribbean, bro.
from. Yeah, he's from the Caribbean. No, he's from the. I think he's from Polish or something.
No.
I think we're
No,
talking about
that's
the
not
wrong people. The
someone
people.
else. Yeah.
DJ.
Yeah, this one's
DJ.
called Yahweh. Yo, what's
Okay.
up?
What's the most dangerous state? Is it Chicago?
Bro, the most
Compton.
city is my
Compton.
hometown,
Compton.
Chicago.
Yeah.
No, Chicago's the most dangerous city.
What? Not Compton. Brooklyn.
No,
Compton's not a
Chicago.
state.
Chi Town.
Brooklyn.
Brook.
There's a lot of shy people in Chicago.
No,
It's a
not
shy
really.
town, bro.
Chi-town, bro. The Windy City.
Do you know
Go
all 50 states,
MI5.
Jaffa?
Huh?
Do you know the name of every state?
Yeah,
I
no,
do.
no, no,
I
no,
do.
no.
I
Yeah,
can
of
name
course.
most of them.
Wow, that's pretty
Yeah.
sad, man.
Yeah.
Okay, JK. Which state is round at both ends and high in the middle?
Sorry?
Hmm.
Which US state is
Yeah.
round at both ends and high in the middle?
I don't know. I don't know the shapes of them, like the
Wisconsin
geography, the physical geography. Is it
and
Minnesota?
no,
No,
it's Wisconsin.
Colorado?
round at both ends and high in the middle.
How did Great Dunya squash me?
Abu
Yeah, what's
Mujahid,
going on,
Howdy,
man?
you have to
howdy,
answer
howdy.
him, bro.
Dude, all I remember is you two going at it, and he left you in such a state that you just felt you couldn't ever
So you
return.
don't even know the conversation.
Dude,
What's going on,
You
man?
don't even
How you
know the
doing?
conversation, but I got smashed.
How you doing? Why so
Muslim
not
logic.
religious?
Muslim logic right there, dude.
Dude,
It's actually Muslim logic, Muslim.
Yeah, Muslim
Muslim.
logic right there. Oh, I just
Muslim.
remember that they talked and one Muslim was the person on the other side, so they won. That's all that is. Did you hear what they talked about? No, but I know it was a Muslim and an atheist, so I'm going to say the Muslim one.
Muslim.
That's what,
How
yeah,
you
you
doing
know.
though, man? How's Tennessee going? How's you in
I'm
Tennessee,
not in
right?
Tennessee. I'm not in
Where are
Tennessee.
you at?
I'm from Tennessee.
Where are you at now again?
I'm in the Midwest. I'd rather not give my state.
Ohio.
Are you
Utah.
like
No,
Ohio?
not Utah. Midwest.
Huh?
you from Wisconsin.
No, that's
No,
not
you're in the
true.
Midwest, right?
I
Midwest.
You're in
do
the
love
Midwest.
Utah's in the
cheese.
Midwest,
I
right?
do love
Oh, like
cheese, but I'm
Wisconsin.
not from Wisconsin.
Wisconsin? Okay. But you're in Wisconsin though, right?
Hmm.
No, I'm not.
There you are.
Okay. Minneapolis,
Cleveland.
Man,
Kansas.
I
Minnesota.
love how you don't even know geography and you're telling me where I live.
Oh
Yep.
man, it's like what time
I
is it right
think there's
now?
like 52 states or some shit like that. I don't know.
Kansas.
No, wait. It has to be St.
Kansas.
Louis, Wisconsin, Minnesota, Illinois.
I think it's one of
Um,
those like Filipino Midwest states. I'm not really
Look.
sure.
Just hey, DJ. Just
yeah,
think of the NBA. Remember they had a Midwest division.
yeah,
Who was in that? Wasn't it Utah?
Utah Jazz.
yeah,
Utah Jazz used to be in the Midwest.
yeah.
Phoenix, Arizona.
Phoenix Suns. I don't know.
Yeah, Phoenix
But
Suns.
these
Who else? Who else was
Midwest.
Midwest? San Antonio. No, that was West. Who used to be in the
Minneapolis.
Midwest?
Isn't Texas Midwest? Is that South?
Maybe.
Is it
Texas
South?
is Midwest. Yeah, Texas is Midwest.
Minneapolis, Minnesota.
Colorado. Denver
Bro,
Nuggets.
Midwest is up on top of where Illinois is at. So if you got Illinois, you got
The
Wisconsin, you
Denver
got
Nuggets are
Minnesota,
Midwest also.
Yeah. See.
you got Denver,
Chicago, Cleveland.
you
They're
Cleveland.
East. They're East. Cleveland are
No,
East.
Cleveland's East. Cleveland's East.
Yeah.
Oh,
Michigan,
okay. Yeah, you're right.
Michigan,
LeBron
Michigan.
James. Sorry.
Just so
Then
y'all
you got
know, there's 50.
Indiana, Indiana. You
It's
got
50 states. Puerto Rico is a U.S. territory. It's not a state. The 13 stripes represent the 13 colonies of the
I said
U.S.
that. I said that. I
I
said
said
that.
that. I said that.
I said that too, man.
After me, yes.
May Allah destroy America.
Go, slow down,
San
bro. Slow
Antonio.
down, bro.
You're
Slow
just
down.
upset
Slow down.
because we're destroying ISIS in your caliphate, bro. That's all that is.
I'm glad. I'm glad you destroyed that, man. Please do not say nothing about U.S. I live here, bro.
Don't worry, we'll make sure that there's never another caliphate, bro. And you can be upset
Bro,
your
slow
whole
down,
life. It's
buddy.
not gonna
Slow
happen.
down. Slow down, guys. Slow down, guys. Slow your roll. Slow your roll.
That doesn't
Keep
make
throwing
sense.
that one
It doesn't
finger
make
up, bro.
sense.
It ain't gonna do you no good.
It doesn't make sense because you have a populist government, so they don't want to intervene in foreign lands. So a caliphate could arise.
They want that oil, man.
Yeah, good luck with
They want
that.
that money.
I'm just saying because that's what Trump is doing. He's a populist.
Isn't Dallas in the Midwest?
That's
I
Texas.
guarantee you, if another caliphate shows up on the map,
Uh-huh.
Trump will go there and destroy the shit again. But he wants to get out. He wants to get out simply because it costs money. He's a businessman. He understands that it's money and life, and he doesn't want to waste either one.
But most of his supporters they want the USA to be like more isolated. They want it to be isolated.
Yeah.
They don't want them to be intervening
It's
in
not
foreign affairs.
isolated. It's called protectionist.
I'm sure there's another term for it, but I don't know what it is.
It's where we don't want to be the world's police anymore because it's wasting money and U.S. resources, and it's driving us into debt, and it's also killing U.S. citizens for nothing other than saying, "Oh, well, we'll be there even though nobody's ever there for us." Is essentially what it is.
It's empire, basically.
I mean, I love how
Yeah.
you say empire. What colonies do we have, bro?
Hey, check out the PNAC, Project for the New American Century. Yeah. That's the current state of affairs.
If we're in an empire, who's our emperor?
Your
Donald
president.
Trump.
Lockheed Martin.
You see, that's the ridiculous thing. An
Lockheed
empire
Martin.
needs an emperor or it needs a king, right?
Yeah. Well, it was
then what
George
are you
W.
talking
Bush. It might still be, actually, because you got a
So
dark
what are you
government.
talking about?
Do you deny that you have a dark government?
You believe in the deep state?
You don't believe that? It's well known.
What are you
It's
talking about?
that's Alex Jones stuff, man. He's mad.
It's true, though.
What are you
It's
talking
even
about?
mainstream talked about it. Even Donald Trump talked about it.
Now I know
Yeah,
I don't know
obviously
what
Donald
I don't
Trump.
know what dark state means. I
Deep
know
state.
what deep state means.
I believe in the
Deep
deep state.
I think you mean dark web, innit? You got
Yeah,
confused.
that's the dark web.
No, there's something called the dark government. You never heard of that?
I know shadow government.
Shadow government.
Yeah, I've
I
heard
don't
of
know.
shadow government. Shadow government kind of represents the
deep state. Yeah.
but
Dick Cheney
Shadow gov-
established it, made a conclusive establishment of the shadow government.
Reactionary. Do you believe in reptilians as well?
No, bro.
Well,
not
I mean,
too
the
not
deep
too far.
state.
Well, no, actually, you don't know. We believe in the jinn, so maybe there's reptilian jinn.
What
Or
you
like
don't
Clinton.
understand about the deep state is that the deep state is what's called political holdovers, right? Who are just doing things for political reasons, not necessarily that's their job.
Yeah.
That's what deep state means.
Okay.
So yes, there are definitely people who are political holdovers, all the way from George W. Bush. You know, who are judges who are going against various.
Who's that crackling something?
Various executive orders and stuff like that, and then there's Obama. There's Obama justice officials and FBI's
Brother,
that are going
you're
against
gonna
the
get
current
demodded.
administration also.
Why?
Huh?
What happened?
Because you
Why?
know what you're doing, Khorasan. You know what you're
Okay,
doing,
okay,
bro.
okay. I'm gonna stop. I'm gonna stop.
Right.
I was going to ask a question, but yeah. After I saw Alex Jones on Joe Rogan, I can't take it. I can't believe anything he says.
Joe Rogan is nothing like Alex Jones.
No, once I saw Alex Jones on the Joe
Oh,
Rogan
okay.
Experience, I just could not take him seriously anymore.
Well, if you well, that's the thing. If you Alex Jones and Joe Rogan are actually really good friends, and
Yeah.
if you ever look up
Bohemian Grove.
if you look at Joe Rogan talking about Alex Jones, he says that it's an act, that Alex Jones really doesn't believe all the shit that he says, but he says it as like a persona.
Theater.
Yeah.
Who is Alex
But
Jones and
that's
Joe
what
Rogan?
Alex Jones himself said when he went to court.
Yeah, but that's because of his family issues or something. He needs that money.
Hmm.
I used to follow him quite closely for some time.
I mean, Alex Jones, I got to say, man, even though I believe in the persona, but there are some shit that he says that is pretty fucking true at times, you know, like
Yeah,
Yeah.
Bohemian Grove.
if you push aside his persona and then listen to some of the shit he says, he nails it on the head a lot of times, you know, but you have to just take it with a grain of salt, you know.
Mm.
Before he got bought out by the Islamophobia industry.
Ooh, shots fired.
I'm still trying to get my check, man. You need to talk to them about making sure I get paid for this Islamophobia industry you keep talking about.
Yeah, man.
I'll try to make sure that you get paid for the kafirophobia industry
Talk to Steve at Speaker's Corner. He'll get you a check.
Yeah, man.
Okay. I'll talk to a couple of sheikhs and try to get you paid for your kufarophobia.
All right, do that, please. I wouldn't mind.
Okay, good. We'll work for each other, man. And we'll show that
Yeah.
Muslims can coexist.
Hey, that's fair trade. Fair trade, G.
Financially, if nothing else.
Why so? So, who do you follow on social media or like on YouTube? Who do you listen to?
One second. What do you mean?
Like politically, religiously, so on and so forth.
Let's see here. USA Today. I'm subscribed to USA Today, YouTube, Fox, CNN, Drone
He means
Tech.
like individuals. Like, have you got any influences?
Like personalities.
Sam Harris.
Yeah.
Oh no.
Jordan Peterson. Who else?
Let's see here.
Richard Dawkins.
Sad Gad.
No. Here, I'll read the list to you. Just one second.
Who's that guy? Rubin. The Rubin Report. And then there's Ben Shapiro.
I mean, I watch their videos when they pop up, but I'm not subscribed to any of those guys. Let's see here. For like Islam,
yeah,
I'll listen to what's his name? Sheikh Asim something.
Al Hakim.
Yeah, he's Huda TV.
Huda TV.
Yeah,
wow, you listen to him.
Yeah, I watch him daily. I watch Al Jazeera. Let's see here. Just some of the stuff that I have on my subscriptions. The Arabian Prince, RT America, RT France 24 English, Al Jazeera English, Gin and Tonic, Fox News, Timcast. Let's see here. Earthling Carl, Atheism is Unstoppable, Non-Stamp Collection, Sam Garens, Mark Dice, some MMA stuff. Vlad Teep's blog is a very good one.
Vlad TV, that Russian guy. I mean that Canadian guy. No, it's like he's like a right-wing anti-social justice warrior or something.
Okay. No, Vlad Teep's blog is the name of the channel. No bullshit. I listen to him. Drone Tech Politics. Steven Crowder, Nuance Bro. 1791 is probably the best political channel out there for American politics.
That's still around. I saw that some time ago when they weren't. Okay, wow. All right.
Yeah, I've been following 1791 since like 5,000 subs, man. That shit's awesome.
That's when I knew about it.
Wow.
Slightly offensive, SJW Central, Dark Matter, The Atheist Experience, John Ward. I followed John Ward when he was at 50 followers. I knew that he was going to blow up.
Hmm.
Abdullah Samir, USA Today, Free Quran Education, Andalusia Project, A Prostate Prophet, Memory TV, Cult of Dusty, Declan Black, TJ Singh, Nate Talks to You, Today, USA, X Moose. That's a channel that's gonna come up. That channel is gonna get big. I can guarantee it. Caspian Report, Peter Sweden, the Iconoclast, Genetically Modified Skeptic, uh, Tipping Point, the Next News Network, The Muslim Skeptic is a dead channel, Introverted Smiles, Thunderfoot, Essence of Thought, Pal Watch, which is a Palestinian, a channel that posts Palestinian TV. Unwatch is a UN Watch is a UN channel. Um, the CBC, which is Canadian News. Just in Trouble, Truth Shall Prevail, which is another Muslim channel. Holy Kool-Aid, Understanding the Threat is kind of a dead channel. Yeah, so I watch a lot of stuff. I have a lot of stuff, buddy.
You forgetting the biggest one, man.
What?
You forgetting the biggest channel out there.
Who?
Reactionaries.
Oh yeah, I'm sure.
Big up.
Hey, why so? I heard you on the gin and tonic show, man. You did quite well. Big up.
Oh, about the Quran, not me and the Quran, right?
I don't remember you. I think you were talking to Stops.
Yeah,
It's like they're trying to like not give much weight to the points you were making, but it's like they weren't listening to your point properly. But then you were able to reiterate, so you did well.
yeah, they do that a lot to me.
Mm.
Y'all might think that like just because we're all atheists that we always get along, but no, I disagree with Rob on a lot of stuff.
Can't
And
we
like
all just get along?
and
I think they look at your accent, right, as a little bit. They kind of dismiss you based on the accent, so
They think you're a hillbilly.
really.
they have a little bit of a superiority complex, I think.
And then with Stops I have to correct him a lot.
Mm.
But with
It's
with
Mr.
them,
Abdi.
they say I go in too deep because I bring in tafsirs and hadiths and stuff, and
Yeah.
because I am the most knowledgeable at Islam on that panel. Just that's just how it is. But
You just got to learn some Arabic now, and then you can really
I'm
touch some
still
books
waiting.
and
I'm
learn.
still waiting for you to show me the Quran verse or the hadith that says I need to learn Arabic, and then I'll do it.
Okay.
If you can find that verse or that hadith, then I'll do it, buddy. Because
What I mean is to
I
study
already,
the Quran and the books of knowledge of Islam.
I already have,
Most of them are in Arabic, not English.
I
So to
already
really
have,
benefit you when you get the Arabic down, you really appreciate it.
Most books
I
haven't been
already, I
translated.
already have Rosetta Stone. I paid $235 for the Rosetta Stone of Arabic. I
Yeah.
just, and I pay $5 a month. I just haven't picked it up in a while.
Oh
But
my
Yeah. I
God.
mean,
You should have asked me, bro. I would have hooked you up, man.
well, that's the thing, man. Like, I actually do learn languages pretty well. I can't say them that well, but I can learn to read and write really well.
No, I'm talking about Rosetta Stone. I would have hooked you up with the Rosetta Stones.
But honestly, I was thinking of this the other day. It's funny how Muslims always say that people need to know Arabic, but but Muslims are never willing to teach the Arabic, right?
bro, hey, why
I
so?
found
There's loads of YouTube videos, free Arabic classes, like really
that's what
good
I'm saying.
ones.
I have found some
Mm.
channels that will do it, like
Why so?
Free
Why
Quran
so? Can I
education.
recommend something? Can I recommend something? Why so? Just go to just move to a Middle Eastern country for about a year or two, and they'll give you the
Yeah,
best way to learn Arabic.
yeah. Let me just go there and worry about my head getting chopped off. There we go.
Oh, you don't gotta worry about that, man. Just tell me you know me. Tell them you know me. Tell
As
me you know
long as I don't
Jasper.
look, here's the thing, man. I'm never leaving America because America is the only country that has freedom of speech. So I'm not about to fuck with any other country. You know that's true, man. It's the only country that has it inside their constitution.
That's true. That's true.
So hold on. I'm
And
switching
freedom of
over to
religion
my
as well,
computer.
right?
Hey, we have
And freedom
freedom
of
of
religion.
speech and speaker's corner, apparently.
Apparently. But we have freedom of religion, freedom of speech, freedom
What
of
else?
press,
May Allah
Freedom of
destroy
freedom of
them.
fries.
press,
Freedom of French fries.
freedom of French fries. Yeah,
Freedom fries. That's
Okay,
freedom of
funny.
sorry.
fries.
I switched over to my computer and my mic.
Oh,
We
that's
have
much
freedom of
better.
religion. We have freedom of speech. We have freedom of.
But you don't have freedom of speech in England because there's people you can get
I'm
reported
not
for
in England,
hate
man.
crime.
I'm not in England. I'm talking about U.S.
Do you have hate crimes in the States?
No.
Oh yeah, we do. We have hate crimes in the states.
No, you can't be charged. You can't be charged for hate speech. Now, you can be charged for something that is based off of alleged race or discrimination or something like that. But there's really no charge for like denying transgenderism or anything like that. But in England, you've heard of people who have gotten police sent to their house because of tweets denying transgenderism and shit like that.
You
That's
can
what I'm saying.
you have the right to remain silent in the United States. However, speech can be used against you and will be used against you in a court of law.
Now,
So you're
honestly,
free to incriminate yourself.
honestly, there's a whole sect of the community that still hasn't learned that, and they're mostly minorities.
I know that. I know that.
But you as an Englishman know that. That's pretty funny.
I know
Why
that as
so?
well.
Why so? Define free speech.
Free speech is the ability to say anything that does not incite violence or harm.
But
Yeah.
if you're taking out the incitement to violence, you don't have free speech in its totality. You are still restricting it.
Yeah.
Well, you say that, but there is a difference, isn't it? Because there's a difference of me saying, what would the example be?
Hold on a sec. Why so? What about a U.S. general that instructs his army, motivates them to go out and kill in war? Like, which was the general? I think it may have been MacArthur who told his troops, "Your job, oh American soldier, is not to die for your country, but it's to go out and kill the sorry bastard who
Now, here's
fights
the
for the other
question.
country."
Was he in
Something like
America? Was he in America talking about people in America, or was he describing a time of war? And
It was
was
a
he
time
on
of
a
war.
foreign soil? Was he
It's a
on
time
a
of
foreign?
yeah. Obviously, look, I understand the context behind it, right? But I'm just asking based on the definition. Would that be included?
Of course, it's included
Because
when you're
he's inciting
talking
violence.
when you're talking about times of war, and you're talking he's not even on U.S. soil. There's a total different context there and meaning. Now,
But
I am a free speech absolutist.
Yeah. So
Like,
there are
I
different
believe.
times and places in which certain restrictions would apply, and certain
No,
times they
here's
don't
the
apply.
thing. I'm a free speech absolutist. I
Yeah.
think that somebody should be able to say, if they want to, they should be able to say, go out and kill that person. Okay. I want that person dead. And then if that happens, then that person should be held reliable as conspiracy to commit murder.
All right. If somebody's in hospital, suffering from cancer, are you free to go up to that person in the hospital as a stranger and say, "Die. I want you to die"?
I want you to die is not anything that you can't say. I don't get what you're talking about.
Is that you're allowed to do that?
I don't think you
What do
should
you
do
mean?
that.
No, if you're in a hospital, right? You see someone in a cancer
In the
ward,
hospital, you're paying for the room. So if somebody doesn't want you inside their room, you're not allowed to be there because you're
It's
paying
private
for it.
property. It's private property too.
All right. I'm just kind of know. I'm just coming up with random questions. So
No, I
in an
understand.
NBA game, they've got these children from charities who get special treatment from the NBA stars because they're ill, right? So a
What is it
young
called?
child from one of these charities, and one of the other fans comes up to them, says, "Die! I hope you die."
Yeah, they have
right?
every right to do that.
Yeah. Okay.
Okay, let me ask you a question then. So it's
I
free
mean, here's the
speech.
thing. Y'all are acting like your religion doesn't say some of the worst stuff. If it wasn't for
Yeah.
free speech, you wouldn't be able to say some of the stuff that's in your own book,
Got a
right?
question though. Hold on. What could be the outcome of somebody doing that? What would be the result?
It should just be okay, walk away, be the bigger man, or say something back to him, insult them back. Who cares?
Yeah, there's a young child, a big grown man comes along and says, "Die! I hate you. I want you to die. You deserve the cancer you got." Like, okay, he's free to say that, right? But don't you think people will react and beat him up?
They shouldn't. That's called assault.
Yeah, but he provoked them.
It doesn't matter. You are held to your own agency. A big
I
thing
think, I
about
think,
today, a
you know
big
what? I
problem
think
with
that's
today's
where
society is people are trying to say, "Oh, you hurt my feelings, so I'm allowed to hurt you physically." There's a
but you know
difference.
what?
between hurting
But that
somebody's
child didn't do
I'm
anything
sorry.
to
I'm
him.
sorry.
You think that child
When it
has a
comes,
right? Should be
don't they have a?
It's
Don't
called
they,
freedom, buddy.
allowed? Should somebody be allowed
reactionary?
to just go up to your child and do that?
Reactionary. I think they're having a big debate about this as well. Like, how you should be able to use your free speech. Because if it intensifies violence and it intensifies
But
someone
Raj,
being hurt,
yeah,
that
but Raj
shouldn't.
is
That's not.
red pill. Being provoked is an excuse in law. In common law, that is
No, it's
an
not.
excuse.
Not in
Yes, it is.
America. Not in America.
Well, in the UK, it is.
Well,
It's
then
called
that's
something called the
ridiculous.
provocation laws. Yeah.
Well, then that's ridiculous. Because that's probably the biggest problem with the leftist type people, but the ideology that's going on now is
Yeah.
you hurt my feelings, so I can
Yeah.
hurt you physically. There's
Yeah.
a difference between somebody's hurt feelings and somebody's hurt body. There's a huge difference between that. Nobody
Which one's
really,
worse?
of course, physical.
No.
Because then they could lose their
No.
job. They could lose their job. They could lose their house. All these other things. They have
You
a
don't think
huge
there's
amounts of bills.
mental damage, psychological damage
Mental
from
damage.
words?
Who cares?
Who
Sticks and
cares?
stones may break my bones, but words will never hurt me. This is
But
what I was
words
taught when
do
I was
hurt, though.
growing
That's
up.
the problem. Words do hurt. That's why people react violently.
Then you're weak mentally.
Can I say something, please?
Yeah, people are weak mentally. They're also weak physically.
Why so?
Not everybody's strong and can say, "Okay, I'm just going to walk away." Maybe
Then do it.
maybe 9 out of 10 times you'd walk away, but one day you're having a difficult time and you can't take it.
That's your agency. The biggest problem with today's society is people want to take away the agency. They want to say, "Oh, they made me do it," or "Society made me do it," or "This person influenced me." Where was your own sense of agency? That's the question.
I got no issue. That my issue is if somebody reacts in a way that's negative.
Okay,
to
let me
negative
ask you this,
speech. You can't
reactionary.
blame the person who reacts.
Okay, reactionary.
Yeah.
Some Muslim quotes to me the Quran and says, "You are worse than cattle," and that hurts my feelings. Am I allowed to hit them?
It depends.
Because you say that it's God's words, and God's words are perfect.
Yeah, no.
But the issue,
as
so
I said,
then
it depends. If I say to you the way you described it, I can understand you reacting and hitting me. I wouldn't have an issue with that. I can't blame you.
Or if a Muslim's talking to a Christian or a Jew and they say that you're the worst of creatures because you deny Muhammad's revelation, and then they hit you and they say, "Oh, well, he offended me. He hurt my feelings." Is that justifiable?
Well, once again, it just depends how I'm directing to you that message. If it's in a way that's insulting and upsetting to you,
that's the exact message in the Quran.
Yeah. So, for example, if one explains to you why Allah is saying that, then in a way that is respectful, it's not a problem.
Well, what you were just talking about was that just saying a phrase and then you say, "Oh, but I understand certain context," right? But what you're talking about is just saying something to somebody and then them reacting, and you can't even give a context, right? Well, all that's happening is you're saying now, "Oh, well, it's context that matters when it's about me saying something. But when it's somebody saying something to me, I have a lack of agency and I have the right to hit them because I'm mad."
No, I didn't say it like that.
I know you're not saying it, but
you're misrepresenting me in that one.
We say that in America that's what you're saying, but it's more figurative about what the person is saying. It's not a direct quote
at all.
Actually, it is. It's the exact same.
Oh no.
Because what you're doing is you're saying something that could be offensive to somebody, right? But you believe that they are the perfect words from the perfect creator. And then that makes them absolutely true. And then that person gets offended and they hit you. So who was right and who was wrong? Who was right? And here's the thing. You have the right to say it. That person doesn't have the right to hit you. That's the difference. Because one is verbal and one is assault, right? That at least in America, we have the difference of saying something as speech and then actually assaulting the person.
Yeah, assault is not only, even in UK law, assault is not only physical.
Well, that's the
fact,
problem with y'all's laws.
Not quite. In fact, assault isn't even defined as a physical attack. It's
True.
Battery is called a physical attack.
Even
assault
in America, assault is the making of a person feel threatened.
Yes, correct. If you make them feel of imminent danger.
Yes,
of physical force, then that would be assault.
But that's the thing.
Assault can also be on the telephone call, right?
If they
you can
feel
assault
that
someone
way
over the phone.
If they feel threatened, then they have every right to defend themselves. It's the same thing. Like if somebody's cursing at me, approaching me, and I say, "Don't come any closer," and then they keep coming, then I have the right to defend myself because I told them to stay back because, the reason I told them to stay back is because I felt threatened.
Yeah.
You get what I mean?
Okay. Yeah, I get you. JK, you still there? I think we've cut everyone else out of the conversation. Okay.
Yeah, so what, were you going to ask me something?
No, I was wondering if you're still involved and if you had an opinion.
Yeah, so just going back to the definition of free speech. Why so? Defined it as the ability or the freedom to say anything except the incitement to violence. Correct?
Or harm.
Or harm. Yeah. Okay. So, do you agree with this? Like, do you propagate this definition?
Propagate.
Sorry?
Like how?
Do you support it?
Well, yeah, I support it. I won't say that I really propagate it because, like I said, I'm a free speech absolutist, which means if I do feel like if somebody wants to say, I want this person dead. I want someone to kill this person. I believe they have the right to say it, but if there is an action that occurs from it, then they are held responsible along with the person who committed the action.
So you will protect somebody's. So if you were making the law, you would protect the person's right to.
I wouldn't change the law myself. I accept the law as it is right now. If it was up for a vote, I would vote for my personal belief of freedom of speech, but I know that it would never win.
But you believe.
But I'm not. So I'm okay with it because there is a standard, and then if it ever encroaches more than what the standard is right now, then I have a big problem with it.
But okay, so I have an example of incitement to violence because I think that it's difficult
Your
to
Quran?
define. Sorry?
Go ahead.
What did I say?
I said your Quran?
No. It's a book about Israel. It's a fairly pro-Israeli book, and
the Quran.
No, it's not the Quran. It's a book. Let me just find it.
Yeah, the Quran. Allah is a Zionist. He's like the biggest pro-Israel person.
It's called Israel: A Concise History of a Nation Reborn. It's a very popular book. Anyway, in this book, it details how the Jewish people of Europe were persecuted in the late 19th century. And there was a famous book that was written in Russia called something about the Elders of Zion. It was a propaganda book. I'm sure you've heard of it. The Protocols to the Elders of Zion. Have you heard of it?
Unknown. Stop muting me, you fucking prick. It's not your channel, dude. Fucking loser, dude. You do
So
this all
watch
the
your mouth,
time like a
bro.
little child, dude. Dude, you never tell Grey Dunya to watch his mouth, so shut up and let me talk to Jay.
Watch your
Fucking
mouth, bro.
prick. Eat a dick, bro. What's your question, Jay?
So have you heard of this book?
Reactionary. Tell him to stop.
Yeah, Abu Mujahid, bro.
How am I gonna answer?
Hold on. Why so? Let me deal with it. Abu Mujahid, please don't do that. Yeah.
Did you hear what he said?
Who
Yeah,
cares?
but that's
Unknown.
after you.
Shut up.
That's after you unfairly
No, he
muted
said
him.
Allah's a Zionist, bro.
Because he is. Look at the Quran, chapter 17, verses 3 through 10.
But
Read
that
it.
why so? That's we use the term Zionist to the creatures of Allah, not to the
But
Creator.
read it.
So it's a bit
Don't
of an
get mad
insult
at
to
me.
say that. Yeah?
And stop
You-
muting me, Unknown. This is not your channel, bro.
But one sec, why so? Do you understand why we take offense to you saying that?
Because it's true, and y'all can't stand
No,
it.
it's not. It's not. You know what
Allah
Allah
Zionist?
created
Wait.
Israel.
Where did the term
Right.
Zionist come from? Who's it
Allah
related to?
created Israel, right?
Theodore Herzl, I think.
Okay, so you're saying that you're describing Allah as a follower of Theodore Herzl.
Allah wills
No,
and permits
Yeah,
everything.
I know, but I know why so. I get the point you were trying to
Here,
prove.
let's pull up.
But
Let's
the
no.
term
Here's the
is
thing.
offensive. The way
No, let's
you
pull up.
phrased it.
Let's pull up. How about you actually go to the Quran on this? And Jay, I'm not trying to avoid your question,
That's fine.
but
So just carry on.
but here's the thing. Look up chapter 17 out
Why
Israel.
so? That's not the point we're discussing.
No, it is the point.
No, it's
You're
not.
getting mad at me. You're getting mad at me for saying that Allah is a Zionist, which is
Yes.
pro-Israel, right? And
Why
that's
so?
what Allah is.
Honestly, I'm trying to explain to you, and I'm sure you understand that the phrase you used is offensive to us. Do you get that?
So what? It's true though. Look at your own Quran. Don't
No,
get
it's
mad
not.
at
Okay,
me.
you need
No,
to understand
no, it's
something. Why so? You have to understand.
Don't get mad at me.
That the modern ideology of Zionism that came to prominence in the 19th century is not necessarily the Zionism that manifests today. So we have to agree on what Zionism actually is, and we can't attribute a modern or contemporary ideology to God. Do you understand?
Allah wills
Because it
and
came from
permits all things. And in the Quran, chapter 17, Allah says that he will raise the state of Israel up 2 times and he will destroy them 1 time. And by that time, it was in the 7 AD, which all scholars agree upon. So, what was the time after that he would raise Israel up to a great height again? It's obviously this time, which makes him a Zionist, pro-Israel.
But you have to
Now,
understand.
you have to understand. You might get mad. You might get upset.
Why so? Why so?
But this is your Allah. Don't get
Okay.
mad at me.
Okay. You get kicked.
Ha ha ha.
I was trying to reason with him, but reactionaries are here.
Why is he saying that Allah is a Zionist?
He's an idiot, man.
I don't know. I don't know about the verses of
This
the
guy's a clown. Why did you guys give this guy the time of day?
Zionism is a new word, man.
Yeah, it came up in the 19th century.
But it's not for pro-Israel, bro. It's for taking over.
See, the thing is about Zionism. What happened? We got a message. He's coming back. Is reactionary here?
Yeah, I'm here. Can you hear me?
Yeah. So, did you kick him? Did you leave?
No, I ejected YSO
All right. Okay.
because he kept repeating it, and and we're just trying to explain to him, bruv, it's offensive to us. So
May Allah reward you.
I mean,
You don't have respect for us, man. Just pretending.
no, generally he does. I enjoy YSO's company. Generally, he's respectful, but in that point, we tried a few times to explain to him.
Yeah, he got a bit
He
agitated.
was being a bit defensive. So. All right, if you're not willing to listen, then no point talking.
Change the topic.
Let's talk about Zionism. What does Zionism mean, please?
I don't know, bro. Oh,
You guys know what Zionism means.
It's the idea that Jewish people should have their own homeland in the most
Yeah,
basic form, pretty much.
Zionists, Zionists or anybody that believe that Jews should have their own country, which is Israel.
Yeah, so you can have a Christian Zionist or an atheist
Exactly.
Zionist,
Nope.
and a Jew is not necessarily a Zionist.
Nope.
But it is an interesting topic, and there's a lot
Yeah,
to it,
but
a
you
lot of
know he's
history.
using it wrongfully, bro. Because when Allah read the Quran, bro, that word Zionist didn't exist.
Exactly, he was attributing a modern ideology to Allah, and that's where he went
But you
wrong.
can't do that, man. You can't do that.
Why have you got so many timing out in the? Oh, Abu Mujahid is having a little
Abu Dhabi, man, I'm telling you, you gotta
jihad in the
stop drinking that
comments.
milk, man. Stop drinking that milk, bro.
Abu Mujahid, can you hear us?
Yo, bro, all I did was time out why so, and then reactionary kicked somebody else out.
All right, okay.
Mm. Anyway, let's let reactionary handle his panel. We shouldn't be muting anybody unless reactionary meets somebody.
I think we were having a decent discussion on freedom of speech, and then it got derailed, sort of.
Last time Mujah was on the panel, our Maz was about to go and find him at the school and beat his ass.
Somebody
That
said,
is
DJ, why
crazy.
are you eating when you're talking? Sounds disgusting. Please stop.
I'm not. Oh, I'm sorry. I'm sucking on some ice. Ice, baby. Vanilla ice, baby.
Do you have a
Who's
mute button on your phone? Just press the mute button, bro. That's all. Raj's Red Pill says, how old is Abu Mujahid?
23, I think.
Gandalf the Grey says, Abu Mujahid sounds like Tan so much.
What?
Gandalf the Grey said, Abu Mujahid is 19.
How old are you? Abu
Why'd you
Mujahid.
ask?
Just asking. You're like
Nah,
23.
I'm gonna do a reactionary.
Why?
You
Why
said it
does it
before,
matter?
but I can't remember.
Yeah, but why do you ask?
Just
Okay,
curiosity.
but why does it? But what's the relevance?
It's not relevant. It's not relevant. It's all right.
Okay.
Raj's Red Pill said, he sounds really young. Raj's Red Pill, why you always got caps long on caps uppercase whenever you type?
That's what Raj does as well.
Job Center
Right.
Plus says Abu Mujahid is looking for a wife. That's what you're known for online, Abu Mujahid. Right? You're
Well,
famous for looking for a wife, apparently.
job center's looking for a job. If I sound
Raj's Red Pill
young,
says, oh, he's no longer caps lock. Can't believe it, Raj's Red
Oh
Pill.
no.
Well done. Attention seeker. Who
Oh,
is
he's
attention seeker? Oh,
he
you are. Okay. You're talking
friend.
about himself.
He's from America too.
Who, Raj's Red Pill? From
Yeah, that's
Chicago, is it?
I don't know. That's what he said. He's from America.
Gandalf the Grey says, Mashallah, Abu Mujahid, I'll find you a pifting Afghan one. Hey, what happened to Zahra Ali?
Yeah, what happened, man?
JK snapped her up and told her to get off YouTube.
Nah.
Is it?
Are you mad? What are you on about? Too many conspiracies on YouTube, man.
What's a pifting? It's supposed to say a painting. Who's that playing with
I've
the
heard.
microphone?
You can't just say beautiful.
Beautiful.
Wow.
Does
JK,
that word still exist? Is that in modern English?
I
JK
use
Job
is one
it.
Center
of those.
Plus. Abu
Yeah,
Mujahid will be the next Rizzi Shia brothers.
Oh no, no,
Why
that's
is
too
he
they're
far.
saying
my
that?
they're
That's
my
too far.
enemies, bro.
Al Pokari says, Salami, welcome. Hello, Al Pokari. Nice to see you. Gandalf the Grey says, some smiley face. Does anybody know who Gandalf the Grey is?
He
Not a
seems alright, to
clue.
be honest.
Not a clue.
Yeah, seen him around.
Gandalf the Grey.
Welcome Gandalf the Grey.
I remember.
Ah, it's Grey Dunya.
How
Oh,
about this? How about this?
Gandalf the Grey.
I'm
It's
not
Grey
I'm
Dunya.
not I'm not Gandalf the Grey. I'm Gandalf the White.
I don't get it.
Bro, when you
No
watched
one
Lord of
gets
the
that,
Rings,
bro.
you
Huh?
haven't watched you haven't watched Lord of the Rings.
When I
No.
was about 10 years ago, man.
Bro, Gandalf the Grey died and became Gandalf the White. And he has
Gandalf
a
the Grey says, "You're teaching me slang. I'm the master of slang, even though I live in a forest."
he has a picture of Gandalf the White as well. What an idiot.
I just like Home Alone, man. That's a good film.
Well, yeah, you changed your icon today.
No, no, I've got two accounts because one account is for some reason I'm blocked everywhere, and then the other account that's the main one, the Home Alone one.
Yeah, you know Kilowatt?
Yeah.
He's a really cool guy, right? When you chat, hey, who's that? Stop messing with the mic. He's really cool. When you chat to him, it's really nice
Yeah.
and very very softly spoken. If you hear him talk, but when he gets online and he's in the chat, he goes nuts.
Yeah,
He's
there's one guy on Go Live channel,
hmm,
and he's like doing takfir on like 99.9% of
yeah.
every organism in existence since the start of time. And then he jumped on the panel, and it sounded like he was 2 years old.
Yeah. Who's that?
Tiso.
Real TV, or is
Then
that
No,
Tiso.
no, his name is He had a
ex
picture of that
Madkhali?
game. He had the picture of that game.
Is
It's
he a
called.
mod?
Yeah, I think so.
Praise the
Forgot his name.
Mujahideen.
He's got
I
that
only know
gaze.
Real TV, ex Madkhali. Who else is on there? Council of Nice Ears,
T-Sock.
T-Sock.
No,
I don't know any others.
there's another one. There's another one. But yeah, they talk about some really dangerous stuff, man. Hot
Jo-
topics.
Job Center Plus says Abu Mujahid, keep Saeed off live streams.
What's his
Oh
name?
no, can't read that. Remove that one. What's next? Khurasani Yoon. Saeed is a good guy. Fighting talk. Job Center Plus. Allow Saeed. He's a grown man. He can speak for himself.
Oh, yeah. So can you explain this deep state thing briefly,
Why don't you explain it to us, bruv?
or like?
Like you don't know. Come on, tell us.
Nah, I really don't know.
Yeah,
From what I understand,
yeah.
it's like when we see like presidents and all these people in Congress or in this country in the House of Parliament, so on and so forth.
Hmm.
These people are like, it's kind of like the surface web. Like, we have Google and we
Mhm.
have YouTube on the surface web. This is what we can see, but the inner workings are from like the deep web, sort of. So we have like the deep state, like they actually control everything. They manipulate everything,
Hmm.
and the politicians we see really have no power.
Yeah,
Right?
something like that. Yeah.
That's I haven't really read into it, but
Hmm.
I've watched a lot of Alex Jones, so I've heard the term.
Yeah.
No, I personally think that maybe just like two, three people actually have the power to control the world when it comes to
2 or 3?
yeah, I think so.
Are you are you
I
crazy?
think the bank owners, the
Why is
banks.
that? Why is that hard to believe?
2 or 3 people. There's like two or three
Mhm.
people on this panel.
Look at corporations, bruv. Right?
Name one.
There's so many corporations in
Look
the
at the
world,
Koch brothers. Look at
but
the
how
Koch brothers.
many
Look at the
really
Koch
have
brothers.
power?
Look at the Koch brothers.
Okay, the
Yeah.
Koch
As
brothers.
as your company goes up in wealth and status, eventually it's going to get bought by another company. Like in the ocean, you got big fish that eat small fish,
Yeah, yeah. I'll give you a prime example, right?
Like
and there's a
You
lot.
Monopoly.
start.
Yeah,
I'll
it's
give, I'll
just
give you a prime
nature.
example.
That's how life is. You're
So,
gonna have
I'll give
fewer
you,
people. We have something
let me
called the
guys,
1%.
yeah. Let
1%
me
is
guys
like
give
two
you
or
a
three
prime
people.
example. Well, let me give you a prime example, bro. Let me give you a prime example. You start a business and you make it a brand. Another company buys you out. Now, this company probably bought 100 brands that are making $1 million a piece or $100 million a piece. Now they have 200 brands underneath them. They sell it to another company that buys us 200 plus the company. Now they have in their company now they have 500 brands and it keeps going up. And someone up on top buys all these brands. So now you have one company that owns all these brands and they're running the show. That's the same way. Look at these banks. Do you think the bank is owned by just one person? Yeah, most likely. If you look at
Mm.
Fox News, CNN, and all these others, who do you think owns most of these news stations? Some guy named Madoff, I think his name is. Right?
Isn't the New York Times owned by Jeff Bezos now?
Hold
I
on.
believe, yeah, I believe so.
The average gamer said, "Oh, he got deleted." But yeah,
Oh,
the average gamer I think is YSO, isn't it?
so you can't refute me because oh yeah, it is.
Mm.
No, but you
Rajesh
understand what I'm
Medco
saying, right?
says
JK?
The thing is, sorry, I think reactionary wants to say something.
that's right.
Well,
Conspiracy theories are just made by people to make them feel as if they have some sense of control. He's shouting it again, right?
The thing is, there are some conspiracy theories that
I
must
think
be
he's tone
true,
deaf.
but there are two
But
types of people that I usually find. There are people that believe in every single conspiracy theory, like Eddie Bravo, if you've heard of him.
mm,
And then there's some people who never believe in everything and they just believe what the mainstream media tell them. I think you should be balanced. That's the best
yeah,
way.
no, I believe so. It should be on balance as well, right? But what I'm trying to say is that okay, let's not say it's two, three, but let's just say there's a certain amount of people that control everything in the world, right? And I believe banks are one of them that control most things that go in the world because banks make money off wars, right? So the bank, if there's no wars, there's no money being made by banks. You understand what I'm saying, right?
I don't understand when you say they make money off wars. I think the Iraq and Afghanistan wars totaled to over 1 trillion. So I don't know how money make war. Like, doesn't it cost money to go to war?
Yeah, and you need banks to fund it, right?
Yeah,
Most
but
wars are funded by
how do you
banks.
make money from war? I understand how you can make money from a
Because
foreign war.
the countries that are in war will go into debt for survival to pay for weapons, right?
No,
Exactly.
but if
So
your
they're
own
gonna
country,
spend.
let's say I'm in America, I
Yeah,
am America, like I'm like I'm in America and I want to invade, well, like just for example, invade Iraq and Afghanistan. It
yeah,
costs $1 trillion, which I think it did cost $1 trillion, over a
yeah.
trillion dollars.
Okay.
So
Maybe more.
that'll cost me.
Yeah. Now,
So
if you don't engage in that war, what's going to happen? If China or some other country takes those resources that are in Afghanistan, either through force or through trade, then you'll be in a position where you can't compete because you need those same resources.
so
So
these countries,
you have to go and take those at any cost. Otherwise, your future survival is at stake.
so wait a second. I don't really like understand this. So
Mm.
just say you're pumping in 1 trillion. So Iraq has oil, and Afghanistan has like a range of minerals.
Yep.
These resources that you're exploiting
Yep.
are worth more than 1 trillion
Yeah,
Hmm.
probably.
because there must be a profit somewhere.
Of course, they're worth more than a trillion.
That's
Yes.
why they. That's why they make. That's how they make money, man.
And it's not necessary that the resources themselves are worth a trillion, but because it's just raw material. It's what
How
you
much you
do with
sell
that
it
raw
for?
material. In economics, you have something called comparative advantage. So an example is in diamonds.
Yeah,
You don't get diamonds in Belgium, but Belgium has the best diamond production in the world. So they'll get the raw rock and they'll, cut it away. They have the best cutting machines.
they give it value.
They give it value and then they sell
Oh,
it to who they want and for a lot more money.
okay. Yeah, I kind of get it now.
Yeah. So now look at this. Like Israel, for
Oil, for
example, right?
example, crude oil.
Yeah,
Saudi Arabia
yeah,
is one of the world's biggest exporter of crude oil.
yeah,
But refinery is crude oil is not usable. You have to refine it.
yeah. I know.
However, Saudi is not an exporter of refined oil or petroleum, gasoline.
No,
They're a net
it
importer
does
of
refine it.
gasoline.
It does
They
refine it.
refine for domestic purposes only,
Yeah,
not
yeah.
for export.
They
In
export
fact,
Mm,
crude oil.
yeah, in fact, they're a net importer of gasoline.
Okay,
yeah.
I did not know
So,
that.
yeah. So refinery is
And
where
you
the
know,
comparative
and oil
advantage comes in. They could.
and
I
oil's
mean,
in
they've got, of
dollars.
course, yeah, they've got money to build their own refineries and do exporting, but for some reason, they're not allowed to. They don't. They
and
don't engage
and
in that.
and, and it's using dollars. The oil's in dollars, right? In Saudi, they have the dollar as the oil for the oil prices. Isn't that
Mm.
right?
I'm not sure.
Why did Saddam Hussein when the U.S. was asking Saddam Hussein to what was it to make it in dollars? They
In
denied it.
euros.
Yeah, euros.
Mm.
They denied it. That's all it is, man. Have you guys seen the movie Vice? I keep saying that, but
Not
The
yet,
movie
no.
Vice is
Vice.
the
I know the
Vice is
show.
the new movie. No, Vice is the new movie for Dick Cheney, the vice president of U.S. and what his plans were. He wanted to go to war in Iraq, so what he did was he purposely told the Pentagon to hide anything that said that there's no signs of mass destruction, right? And he wanted to make it believe that the Congress and everyone to believe that there was mass destruction and they were behind the terrorism attacks.
You know what, DJ? We should
Yeah.
do a Muslim Matters on the subject of aliens in Islam. For
Oh
real,
yeah,
for real.
Right?
I think it'll
Yeah, we
be
should, you're right.
interesting.
Brian
Huh?
Cox was talking
Yeah,
about that
you know
yesterday.
what?
Who?
Brian
Yeah, we should,
Cox
man.
on Joe
Is
Rogan.
it? Because
Yeah,
Rajesh Red Pill was asking about it as well.
yeah.
I
Yeah, let's
remember
do that, man.
asking some people about that, when I was studying. It was an interesting topic.
Yeah, let's do that tomorrow. Let's do that
But
tomorrow.
in essence, there's nothing to say they don't
Wait,
exist.
when we say aliens, what do we mean? Do we mean
Alien life form,
like microorganisms on Mars or something?
anything,
Like
any
other
life
beings in
form.
other in another
I
universe
think
or
I think they mean intelligent life form is probably what they mean.
yeah, intelligent life form.
Eukaryotes.
Extraterrestrial, in other words.
Because I think like it's very likely that there's microorganisms, but intelligent life form is a whole it's a whole complete different thing.
But those microorganisms can come into, like, if you're talking like bacteria. If you
Yeah.
watch Star Trek: The Next Generation, you see that they've got
Ooh, I
similar
love that.
concepts
I love
of
that shit.
microorganisms, but in mass
Yeah.
form a greater organism with intelligence, like a communal intelligence. There are all sorts of different
But then that's a multicellular
theories and things that
organism,
you can go
so
down. Hey,
then that's like a multi. What do you mean, microorganisms in one body?
microorganisms forming a greater collective intelligence. Yeah,
So to make
Hey,
one multicellular organism.
something like that. Yeah.
All right.
well, there's planets that have water. Most people think that there might be some kind of intelligent life form there.
Yeah. Sorry.
Reaction, have you seen the new Star Trek that just came out?
The new what?
New Star Trek.
No, no. What's that like? Is it any good?
It's really good second season now, but I've been watching it. Real good, real good.
Yeah.
They
Rogers
actually have
Red
a
Pill
they have
said.
a what you say?
Rogers Red Pill said they found water on Mars, and yep, I've
On
read
the
that too.
moon? On the moon or on Mars?
On Mars, on
Mars,
Mars.
Oh,
Mars.
okay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well,
Now,
they
wouldn't it
said
be crazy?
somebody said that.
Wouldn't
I
that
don't know
be
if that's
crazy
true.
if they started getting pictures of people walking around in Mars?
Yeah, yeah.
Wait, how far away is Mars?
It's not that far.
It's not that far. Okay, let me check.
As in.
It's our nearest planet.
Yeah.
Okay, let me check, and then we'll
Who's
validate the
who's
claim
you?
about the water.
Who's you are a joke?
He Mars is 54.6
I don't know,
million
bro. Why? What's he saying?
I
kilometers.
don't know. He's
Wow,
You
you
are a
guys are
joke.
funny.
That's a funny sounding name. Should I block him?
he's saying that you avoiding me. I know you fungi.
Yeah, I'm gonna block you. Sounds dodgy, bruv.
Do
Let
you,
me
any of
block
you
that
have
one.
a background in physics?
Nah,
Nope.
bro.
I
If
don't.
you want to
But I
talk
want
about
to ask you a
business, let's talk
question.
about business.
I want to ask you a question. Physicists say that we as humans are mostly empty space. Do you understand that?
Mm.
I don't
Yeah,
understand that.
yeah,
I
because we're
can't
made of
comprehend
We're
that.
cells,
empty
aren't we?
space.
No, but cells are made up. Cells are like organisms in themselves.
You're saying they're solid.
Yeah, they are solid. Yeah,
Cells.
cells. Well, they're not
Aren't
solid.
they made
Well,
of atoms?
okay.
Aren't they made of atoms?
Okay, so
Oh
cells.
gosh, somebody's echoing me.
It's not me. Cells
Mm,
are
Yeah.
like, let's say, a basic cell is made
Yeah.
up of many structures like mitochondria, DNA, so on and so forth, and then they are made up
But
of molecules, which are made
yeah,
up of
and
atoms.
yes, and those atoms are mostly empty space, aren't they?
Yeah, but I just can't comprehend it.
Mm.
I can't
Maybe
picture
that's
it.
what they mean. I don't know if that's what's meant by
No,
it.
no. I think you're along the right lines, but
Hmm.
I just can't picture it. Even though I do understand it,
Hmm.
like logically, it's a very weird. Physics is very difficult. That's why I never carried it on.
Hmm. Advanced physics is mostly just people guessing stuff, isn't it? Like theories.
Yeah.
But
Tan, what's up,
then
Tan? I mean, Tequila Watch. How you doing, Tequila Watch?
How you doing, guys?
Yeah.
Tequila Watch,
Good, good,
man.
man.
How
How
are
you doing?
you?
Long time.
I've been
Long
away.
Long,
time.
I've been away. I've been away. Busy,
long
busy.
time, bro.
You finished your studies?
Hello,
You
to
finished
Kia
your
Watch.
exams?
Yeah. Exam finished yesterday. I had the last exam.
What do you study?
This, those kind of questions, you know. Try to be smart on the internet.
Propaganda.
What field? Which field?
Media and propaganda.
Yeah, that's my field.
Seriously? Are you serious?
Impression of tan. That's what I'm studying right now.
No, seriously. What's your studies?
It's social things.
Social. Oh, it makes sense.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Interesting.
Takia, you know who this is?
Huh?
You know who this is?
No. Who am I talking to?
JK.
Oh, my Coca-Cola Light Muslim. How you doing, my friend?
Oh, come
Just
on.
joking.
I'm
Just
good.
joking.
I'm good. How
Today
are
I'm
you?
just relaxing. No heavy stuff.
How are
JK,
you?
is that
Co-
true? Are you a
What?
chocolate?
Am I chocolate?
No, I'm joking. I'm joking.
Are you
Galaxy.
dairy milk?
I'm Galaxy. I told you. We're most
That's
guys,
good.
guys,
Good to talk to
I
you.
changed. I changed the name to Vanilla. It's Vanilla now.
Hey,
Vanilla
look,
Muslims.
Raj's Red Pill says reactionary is right. Screenshot that, please, everyone.
Oh, let me screenshot it.
Raj Red Pill says, Takia, what does Christianity say about aliens?
I have no idea, guys. That's a weird question. Do you guys think that they exist?
It's
Have you guys
possible.
watched India?
Possible.
Have you guys watched Indiana Jones? The Skulls.
No, it's rubbish.
Mm-mm.
Remakes are rubbish.
I'm talking about the Indiana Jones movie, the newest one.
Yeah, remakes are rubbish.
Yeah, remix is rubbish. I didn't like the newest one either, but the storyline was about aliens that came to the Aztecs
Indians.
or the Mayans. The Mayans, yeah, the Mayans were
They're called natives.
yeah, the Mayans were visited by aliens, right, with crystal skulls, and they taught them how to do agriculture and all this other stuff.
Reactionary, how's your sleep? Have you fixed it yet?
My sleep.
Your sleeping patterns. Yeah,
It
you're up
was
late.
until tonight, bruv. Until tonight.
Okay, so it's an exception now.
I said, let me come online for 1 hour. And
Yo, we actually
just got
was
too
knocked
heated
out on my
online.
channel.
Yeah.
One day he came on my channel, he was knocked out. We're like, man, where'd he go? He was knocked out.
How's it going? Are you streaming on your new channel? DJ,
Yeah.
how's it going?
Oh yeah, good. Alhamdulillah, man. Muslim Matters is going good. We had a good. We've been having good. You should come in. Pop in once in a while, man.
Sure. Absolutely.
Sakia, do you have any topic that you would like to discuss?
I just want to go in. I'm fixing some French fries.
Oh, yeah, I can hear it.
It's
Do you know
freedom fries.
Yeah.
Where do you live? You live in the UK?
No, Sweden.
Okay, you know Taco Bell in the US they have these new cheese fries. Oh my goodness, man!
Taco Bell.
Extra everything, right?
Yeah, man, they have sour cream on it. You know, some cheese, some jalapenos, and they're nice seasoned fries.
What? 10 dislikes on the video? Oh, that's a bit much.
A lot of haters,
I
man. A
didn't
lot of
expect
haters
that
out there.
many.
It
A
says
lot of
3.
haters.
It says what?
It says 3 on mine. Only 3.
Yeah, mine says 10 dislikes and 8 likes. I'm sure. Oh, 11. There we go. That's it. Give us a few more dislikes.
Let's balance it up.
Probably
So
why
how,
so. Logged in as a few different accounts.
yeah. How do you think that the YouTube community is going?
Not so good,
Um,
man.
You don't think so?
Not
what do you
so
mean,
good, man.
Speaker's Corner? YouTube.
Nah. Yeah, I guess. Yeah, I guess it's the people around that.
I think one big problem is that a
I
lot
guess
of
Speaker's Corner
channels.
it's quite screwed. But
Look, if you're not causing drama, if you don't have entertainment, you ain't doing nothing, bro.
yeah, so it's like it's also something with the people, right? Like they are attracted to drama. Like if you're doing
Yeah, they want to
decent,
fight. If you're fighting with each other,
yeah,
you'll see it blow up. Like 100 people watching,
yeah.
right? 10,000 views and shit.
Is
But if
that
you
is,
do something
so,
academic or something intellectual conversation, they don't want to watch it anymore.
is that your experience as well? That when you're having more calm broadcast, then it dies out a little bit.
Once I had a sister on the panel. I think Reactionary remembers this, and
Yeah.
some of these other brothers. And I had a sister on the chat.
Yeah.
Yo, we had about I think we had the highest was like 100 people watching. Right, first time I had 100 people watching, and that was only because of the issue that we had with the two sisters.
I think
But
that
normally we have like what's that?
we like this generation of people really crave attention. We like we really need to be entertained constantly,
Yeah,
and
man, that's true.
I don't know. I think at least we're talking. You know.
yeah.
Yeah. Look, when I
I'm
was a kid, right? When I was a kid, I'm not gonna tell you how old I am, but when I was a kid, and JK has one of the cartoons I used to watch back in the days. But anyways, when I was a kid, we used to go outside, play basketball, enjoy ourselves. We come home at like 10 o'clock in the evening, playing ball or staying outside, right? Socializing. It's not like that anymore. Not people want to get entertained. Bro, I have my daughter watches slime. That's all she watches is slime, how to make slime. And I'm like, seriously, you're watching how to make slime in the house when I'm willing to take you out to the beach, go play, at the park, whatever. No, 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 I want to watch slime.
Oh,
I
Takia,
think
what? Oh, sorry.
I think it's all fantastic. I'm a big fan of this YouTube
me too. I like
channels.
the mute button.
I hardly
Seriously,
ever use it. I think no, I hardly ever use the mute button. But I've really enjoyed it. Like, how did we come to know each other? We've never
Yeah,
met,
that's the
none
only
of
thing I
us,
like about this.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's the
and
only
we're
thing I
getting
like
to
about this.
interact. We're in different
it's
countries.
it's quite cool actually when you
Yeah,
think about it.
we're in opposing teams in terms of some of our beliefs and stuff. But
Sure.
we're all talking. We're getting along. I enjoy it.
What do you
Yeah,
think
I
about
like
this
that
new
too.
guy?
Ralph,
Yeah. How did you know?
huh?
How
Because
did you know?
I was just going to ask you
Who's
How
the
did
new
you
guy?
know I was referring to
Hey,
him?
because I've
check
seen you
out
debate him
check out
twice.
my first video tonight, random,
Yeah.
and you'll see Crimes of Britain was on. He and I were talking about Ralph a bit as well. But yeah, go.
Who's
So I
Ralph?
didn't mean
Who's
to
Ralph?
interrupt.
Yeah. So
Who's Ralph?
I'll I think Takia. Oh yeah. So
You can call me Simon. That's fine.
Simon. All right. So yeah, it's kind of weird calling a person Takia, but um I've seen the Simon debate Ralph twice or maybe three times
Which one?
On Manny Sinder's channel.
Who's the bait?
You debated Ralph.
Oh yeah, yeah,
Yeah,
yeah.
yeah.
What do you think
So
about that? Did you see the information that I put forth?
to be
No,
honest, when
tell us about it, Simon. How was it?
yeah, yeah,
I
you
didn't
talk
see it.
about it. You talk about it.
So IQ this nobody has monopoly on what intelligence is. There's so many different ways to measure intelligence. No, but there's one of the most famous one
Bell curve.
is using they're measuring six things. The first thing is verbal memory, verbal comprehension, spatial ability, you being able to count the distance A to B in your mind and manipulate the information. And then you have mathematical skills, is very, very basic. Fifth one should be problem solving, using pattern seeking ability and problem solving ability. And the last one should be perceptual speed, is how fast you are. All right, this is what IQ is, according to the most famous intelligence test. So what they do is They have made IQ tests, national IQ tests, since I guess 1920, something like that. So we have a lot of data. This is a little bit taboo, but one of the most the best predictor for intelligence, for lifetime success, is intelligence, IQ test. And there's also one personality trait called conscientiousness, which is basically how duty-driven you are. So can you motivate yourself to do things that you have planned, despite if you're not feeling it? Will you postpone, Will you find excuse, or will you actually do it? Those two traits, IQ plus personality trait, conscientiousness, if you can actually spot this one, these are the people that you want to recruit. All right? Yeah. So what they say is the average is 100 in IQ. That's the average. And then 15 up and 15 down, that's the normal span. So about 10% of the population is having an IQ under 85. And that's a lot, because these people cannot even enter when they want to recruit soldiers for war. For example, in America, they don't even accept them. And think about it. I mean, if you're in war, you would want people to come and fight, right? It's not like you have too many people. You always lack people, right?
Yeah.
But despite of that, they don't accept them. So these people have difficulties with a lot of things, following through, following orders, so they become a burden. But what our friend Rolf is saying is we have a lot of data for national IQ from country to country, and we can see it all through history as well. And he's saying basically that the average in Europe is around 100. The Jews are scoring quite high. They're around 100.
Ashkenazi
100,
Jews.
115.
Ashkenazi Jews.
That's right. The Japanese are also scoring quite high. But then you have a lot of countries who are around, 80, 85, 90. So what he does is he has a problem with immigration. So I want to make sure I don't misrepresent him now. But he thinks that if you take in a lot of people from the third world, he thinks that will be a burden. So he basically is using this IQ thing as a way to basically put different value on different people. And then he's saying that these kind of people, based on this result, we should not take in them. And I did challenge him. I'm saying that IQ is probably 50% is what you inherit. And then the rest is the environment, education, nutrition, and so on. And it's not fixed in stone. Yes, maybe you cannot increase your IQ that much. But between you and your child, you can increase your IQ with 25% or 25 IQ points. So that's the kind of data that I put forth, because I've been following these kind of discussions on the internet. A lot of people on not the average right, but far right, they are quite into this, and they're quite well read. It's very hard to challenge them unless you have research. They will make you look stupid because they have a lot of research. But what I showed him with my scientific paper is around 50% is what you inherit, and the rest is there's a lot of mobility. And they have so if you guys discuss this, remember this word. It's called the Flynn effect. Has anybody heard about this?
Yeah, I have, but I don't know what it is.
Okay, Flynn effect is
I think
basically...
I heard you mention it.
Yeah, you should know about this, because this is basically one way that you...
Flynn?
Flynn.
Like the name Flynn.
Yeah, it's a person. Yeah, he's still alive.
Is it Flynn?
Yeah. So this is one of the strongest tools that you have when you discuss with them. Flynn effect is basically a phenomena that he discovered. Is basically, if you look at the national IQ points, they look at, for example, when they recruit for the army. So they have around 50,000 per year that they assess. That's a huge number. In research, you probably have 2, 3, maybe 20,000. 56,000. That's very, very high numbers. So what he discovered was that the IQ people scored on a test in the 50s, and then you go 20, 30 years later, they increased it in some nations with 25 to 28 IQ points. How could you score so much higher from one generation to the next?
Culture, education.
Of course.
Yeah.
The better society is doing, the better you will score. So this is something very important. Remember that, the Flynn effect.
Yeah.
But the outcome matters. So if a person scored 85, another person score 105, there's going to be a huge difference in what they can perform. So this is one of the best indicators for lifetime success. So I don't want to minimize. We have a lot of research on this field. But yeah, so that's what he's doing. He's basically coming in and he's schooling a lot of people because they don't even know how to handle this. So they're just dismissing him by saying he's a racist. And he's defining himself as far right.
But
that's what he's saying himself.
The thing about him is that I think people is not that they can't comprehend his information; it's his delivery. I think he uses a lot of sophistry and overly complex words that are not necessary in debates, and that confuses a lot of people. And
Yeah.
and another thing is that I find more interesting is not his arguments,
Yeah.
necessarily, but it's the motivation behind his arguments. That's what I'm more interested in.
Yeah.
Why is he propagating these such ideas?
Yeah, it's more than that. He's reducing a human to a number, and then he's saying that he's tying genetics to different outcome, which I don't like at all. How can you say that the genetics is the reason why people are doing certain things? Couldn't it be, the mentality, the philosophy that they subscribe to? Victim mentality can also do things to you. Lack of opportunity, really terrible attitude. There's so many things, but he's saying that the genetics is the reason why you are a disgusting person.
Yeah, and another
which
thing
is the belief itself.
So they want to genetically modify people. Is that their objective?
No, he wants to keep people out of the country.
Oh, okay.
Or ask him.
Repatriation.
Well, yeah, probably.
He's got three eyes he's against. Integration, sorry, what's it called?
Integration,
immigration, and Islamization.
Islamization, sorry.
Yeah, but I don't want this to be about him because these ideas are getting popular. So people better learn how to respond to this. So don't focus on him.
Are they getting popular though?
Yes, yes.
Because all the videos I've watched where he's on these panels, everybody's just seeing through his rhetoric.
No, I'm seeing on
all
YouTube.
The live chats on YouTube. Okay.
No, but forget him. He's just one person. But this is getting a lot of popularity.
Okay.
Is he similar to Richard Spencer?
I think he looks down on him.
Looks down on him.
Yeah. Because
who does he look up to then?
I'm not really sure. Richard Spencer is basically a person that likes to flash and
Yeah,
this
elitist.
No. He's a very no. I wouldn't say that. He's not from the academia world. This guy's academic.
No, he has a PhD, I think. Richard Spencer.
No,
at least a master's.
Richard Spencer is a.
Let me see. I'm sure he has.
He's a joker. He's basically trying to get working class people. This guy, he's
maybe you're talking about Robert Spencer, maybe.
No, Richard Spencer, the
Richard
alt-right.
Spencer, no.
He has Oh, him. Okay.
He did study for a PhD, but he withdrew. So he has a master's.
Okay.
So he is somewhat educated. Obviously,
Yeah, sure, but he doesn't speak in these.
I think he has to attract a certain audience, and especially in America, I would say that audience, they're known to be a bit less educated. The Alabamas and the.
No. That's not his audience. It's a little bit more skilled in.
All right. Okay.
Yeah, but these ideas are they are half right. It's important that you guys know about this. They are half right. A lot of things that they're putting forward is true, but then when they tie to genetics, that's when I have a problem, because if you allow Netherlands to increase their IQ points with 25 points, why won't you let the third world do the same thing as their society is getting better?
But here's the thing, though.
Do you understand this? This is one of the strongest, because when I put this to him, he was shocked. He didn't know how to respond to this. So I showed him data.
Harvard University.
Yeah.
The majority of students who passed the entrance exams were Asians.
East Asian, right?
Yeah, like
Chinese.
Japanese, Chinese, that type of Asian. And but they're the majority of people who didn't get a place.
That's discrimination, though.
They weren't offered the place, even though they passed the exams with the best grades.
Yeah, I think I've read about a group of Asian students, candidates who I think are taking Harvard
Yes.
to court. Is that
Yeah.
correct? Yeah, yeah.
Correct. That's them.
But this one thing I want to say about Ralph is that I asked him once in the live chat. You know when COE premieres his videos, and I asked him, "How much do you know about biology?" Because to be honest, when it comes to sociology and things, I'm not very well versed, but I know much more about biology. And the thing is, he never talks about biology. He never actually talks any science about genetics. He always says
He
it.
never have the reference at all when we speak. I've seen one reference.
Yeah.
I
That
want
was
to say
basically how people
One sec.
genotype.
self-identify.
One sec. The average gamer reactionary, you're not on my level. Yeah, I never said I was on your level, bro. Yeah. Sorry. Go on.
Yeah, like he says, there's 20,000 genes, but I never hear him talking about a genotype being expressed in the phenotype, alleles, recessive, dominant, so on and so forth. Like these are the building blocks of genetics, and they are portrayed in our traits as humans. But he never talks about it, and
I know.
obviously, this is my background. I have more of a scientific background, so uh, because
Cool.
that he doesn't talk about it,
Yeah.
it doesn't really appeal to me because I don't understand sociology too much, to be
I know.
honest.
I view this as scientific racism. That's the category. It's
Yeah.
pseudoscience. That's how I see it. But he's half right. But that's when he ties it to genetics. That's when I challenge him.
But
Outcome is
what
not the same thing as that something is genetic.
what are his genetic arguments? I still can't make them out because he never
He's
talks about
saying that
biology. He never
no, he's
talks
saying
about
the
it.
outcome. There's a huge gap between different nations, and he is right about this. But he's saying that this is because of the genetics. Well, if you go back 100 years, you would see how, I don't know, maybe Great Britain didn't suffer, but Swedish people were suffering. They were emigrating to America, a lot of them because of poverty. So let's take an IQ test then and see if that's their permanent IQ score.
And another thing is
So it's unfair understanding of this.
and another thing is that it's generally accepted that Jewish people from European origin, they're successful. They do very well in academics. Correct.
Yeah, they
Yeah,
do
yeah.
well in whatever
So,
field
but
they
the thing
jump
is,
on.
there are three kind of main categories of Jews. There's the Ashkenazim, the Mizrahi, and the Sephardi. So the Ashkenazi come from Europe and Russia, Western Europe. The Sephardi come from the Iberian Peninsula, and the Mizrahi come from pretty much Arab countries like Iraq, Yemen, so on and so forth. So they're all Jewish. They have very similar genetics because they're all Jewish on their mother's side. But why is it that only the Ashkenazis are known for being very successful and more intelligent? Now you could say because the genetics are to a certain extent uniform, that the culture has played a significant part. Because in the 18th century, or maybe the 17th century, the Jews in Europe underwent some sort of a renaissance where they went to excel in mathematics, finance, music, and so on and so forth. And I think this should be explored as well, if you know what I
Yeah,
mean.
but listen, the Jews are less than 1% of the world's population. Do you know how many percentage they have taken home from the Nobel Prizes?
Most of them.
It's around 20%. They're disproportional. So
Exactly.
they're
No, but the thing is, most of those Jews are Ashkenazi Jews. But why is it that the Mizrahi Jews and the Sephardi Jews are not achieving as much? And they're all Jews.
I don't know. I don't know.
So
But
I'm sure, like I might be completely off, but I think if somebody were to delve into this topic, you can disprove that genetics dictates your success and IQ because people who have similar genetics, as we can see with the Jews, have different levels of success.
it can also be what kind of culture they encourage. If they're quite strict on reading and this kind of culture from an early age, and if the culture actually looks up to it, then they'll bring a different kind of.
The vast majority of Oscar winners are white Americans,
Okay.
Christians.
But
Does that
Oscars
mean
is that something to brag about?
it's
Yeah, I think it's
a
like
talent, it's a skill,
when you watch
it's a field of
Godfather
work.
2, when you watch Godfather 2 and you see De Niro and Al Pacino with it, it's an art of work. It's a work of art. Like not most people can replicate that level of art.
Well,
But
also
then
the
you had
judge.
the Oscars So White demonstration. What was it, last year or the year before? So now
Oh,
they've
right.
had to mix up the panel of judges to include a more diverse mix. It turns out that there was what do you call it? Not discrimination, but bias in judging based on
Yeah.
people's backgrounds.
But let me ask you guys. I mean, maybe this is a bit sensitive, but what do you think that the third world are performing much, much, much less than the rest of the world? Sure, we can explain things that happens historically, but the last 40 years, maybe they are doing better. I mean, you should compare a nation with itself, right?
Yeah.
So like which nation would you say?
I was thinking about the whole third world. Why are they performing much, much less?
I think
Some
there
say
must
it's
be like
intentionally from the colonial powers.
But
It's
yeah, but
now
that would
soft empire rather than hard empire.
but that would explain a part of it, But
Yeah, that's
there's still more to explain.
Yeah, I'll give you an
Do you agree?
example. Well, I was
I
at
know.
a university, and one of our lecturers, he's involved with high-level government activities,
Okay.
and he said that you take a square meter of land in Africa, in one part of Africa,
Sure.
and they find oil there, right? What do they do with that discovery? Perhaps, and another country has a square meter of oil as well, but they both have completely different outcomes in terms of their country's prosperity. If you take Norway, they're an oil producer. The first thing they invested in when they discovered oil was nurseries. Why? Because they wanted to develop their country's capacity, employ their own people, and
Yeah.
develop their capability. And to do that, they had to have universities. To have universities, they had to have people looking after the kids. Yeah.
Yeah.
People working in there. So they became an organically grown oil developer, oil producer. Whereas you take another country, what they do is they take huge loans from the IMF. They get people in from other countries to come and build up their infrastructure. No investment in schools, no investment in universities, nothing. It's just buying in your capability.
Yeah, I mean, just to look at Saudis, what they are very lucky if you look geographically where they are, right? And they had oil. So I think it could be the same thing with Dubai. Like they don't pay any taxes, right?
Kuwait as well.
Yeah.
So well, they're starting to now, though. But yeah.
Yeah, is that really a wise choice? And then I think sometimes some of these leaders are stealing from the people, right? If you have an oil nation, then you should think about your grandchildren,
Yeah.
So maybe the corrupt leaders are also a huge part of the problem.
Yeah.
While the Norwegian,
that's what foreign aid is for.
Yeah. What do you mean?
Our foreign aid that goes to the third world countries is really a form of bribery.
So should they stop that maybe or reduce it?
That's what causes corruption.
You think so?
Yes, it is a form of corruption. And that goes top down. That corruption culture in a country is just top to bottom.
I was just going to say something, and it's a bit controversial, but let's just a bit of an experiment. So when it comes to physical attributes, it's never controversial to say that a certain group of people. Can you hear me?
Yeah.
Oh yeah, I thought the sound went off. Have different attributes to another. So, for example, people from the Netherlands, on average, are much taller than other people. People from Western Africa tend to have more fast twitch muscle fibers than East Africa, and subsequently they are much stronger, much faster, and a lot of times they make better sprinters, whereas East Africans are known to be marathon runners, and so on and so forth. And this is not seen to be controversial. But once we start talking about intellect and its variance amongst across different ethnic groups and races, then it gets controversial. So, do you think that this conversation we should have this conversation or not?
But
Not us as.
this is what Simon was talking about in the beginning. That in order to determine if intellect is different amongst people based on their genetics, you need to first define what intellect is. And he gave a way of measuring that. Was that the Flynn? I don't remember
Flynn
which
effect.
it
Yeah,
was.
I mean it's
You had six measures for intellect. The one is what I remember you saying.
yeah, 6 parameters. Yeah,
But
it's unfair. It's unfair to compare a nation that has 98% literary. How do you say it in English?
Literacy rate.
Yeah, rate compared to a nation who has 40%. You know,
Yeah.
they haven't even built the infrastructure correctly because they have had civil war. What are we really measuring? Are we measuring intellects based on genetics? Or are we measuring poverty and basically a destroyed civilization? You know what I mean?
so
And does that
I
mean they don't
understand.
have intellect? So look at Muhammad Ali, for example. Oh no, Floyd Mayweather. You know
No,
Floyd Mayweather is a boxer, right?
Yeah.
This guy, he's the wealthiest athlete in the possibly in history.
Definitely.
Possibly in history, the wealthiest, the largest earner ever. And this guy, he can hardly read. They had him on the radio. They asked him to read something, and he couldn't read it.
But his decision making inside the ring is
they are-
very
Isn't that
intelligent.
intelligence, though?
No,
Yes.
there are two types of intelligence. One is called fluid, and one is called crystallized intelligence.
Yeah.
Crystallized intelligence is information you gather through your lifetime.
That's knowledge, though.
Yeah, that's right. And that's part of intelligence, of course. The second type is fluid intelligence, which is basically how to think. That's basically your brain. It's not something you stack up through your life based on knowledge. It's basically how your brain is wired.
Genetic?
Your brain how it's
Natural.
wired.
Okay.
Yeah, that's not something you learn. That's your pattern thinking ability, and a lot of things like that. So yeah, we can increase the first one a lot, through education. So if I would make an IQ test on you now, compare with daytime, you would score much better on daytime because right now you're tired, right?
Yeah.
So what are we really measuring if I'm doing an IQ test with you right now? We're measuring your tiredness, right? So that's what I'm saying right now. It's a bad comparison. But if you compare a nation with literacy rate with 40%, with a nation having 98%, what are we really measuring? That's why the Flynn effect is it's so great way to explain this.
Yeah,
The better psyche is doing, the better you'll perform.
Also, within a family, you'll find that one particular family member is going to be a lot brighter than the other family members.
Yep.
Yeah,
you can
but
have
all
two
of
sons.
tests,
one of them is really bright, and the other one is not bright at all.
but all of these tests are on group level, so we have to remember that. So yeah, if someone is doing good,
like I think the only fair way to kind of it's sort of impossible, but the only fair way to determine differences in intelligence across different races, if every single factor or variable is exactly the same. So, for example, we have GDP is the same, development's the same, level of education, health, morbidity rates, so on and so forth. So we can isolate this one single variable, intelligence, on like a national level. So we can compare somewhere like Nigeria to China to Israel.
yeah, but that's why it's not meaningful to compare nation with each other. You compare a nation with itself, or people who lived there, or a nation 20 years ago. That's when it's meaningful.
Also, in history, different nations have been more dominant over time.
Of course,
over different times in history, and those same nations that were dominant in the past, maybe today are at the bottom.
Exactly. Yeah, I mean, like a lot of the Middle East today, like if you just take out oil, a lot of it's in turmoil, and you can attribute that to a number of factors such as war. But at one point in time,
I think the oil is destroying Middle East. It's not forcing them.
I mean,
produce other things.
For example, let's just say like Egypt, for example. It's hard to give an example, but let's just say there was a time when I'm not Arab, so like I don't have any like allegiance to Arab people.
No problem.
But there were a time when they were a very dominant people.
Iraq, that's right.
And Iraq and I would say Persia still are, even though they're very
Persia,
isolated.
that's right.
No, I think Persia still are. Just that they're very isolated and they have a lot of political pressure, but I think they're still doing very well as their own country. But when it comes to the Arab countries, they are not where they were about 700 years ago.
Do you think?
300 years ago.
Do you think it has to do with oil, or you think?
No, I don't know because I haven't studied
Okay,
all the parts of Arab
but oil is
history,
new.
the ups and
It's
downs,
it's from
and
the
so on and so forth.
30s. It's quite new.
Third, I think it was before. Was it from the
No, no,
30s?
30s.
Yeah,
That's when they find out oil in Saudi.
and it wasn't even the Arabs; it was the Americans.
Oh, was that the case?
Mm.
Yeah. But I think people need to stop looking back in history and saying, they did it to us. Sure, that explains part of it. Maybe that explains 30-40%. I believe in personal responsibility. And that also gives you power to change things.
But I think that's only a fair argument to make if the effects of the past do not remain until today. So let's say an Iraqi person
Yeah.
whose parents were persecuted by Saddam Hussein, or he or himself experienced war in Iraq. So in a way, it is the past, and it's affecting today. But if we're talking about like 1,000 years ago or like 500 years ago, then I think we should start to look forward.
Right. Are we defining success or of intelligence, shall we say, by numbers of Nobel prizes? Is that really the
No, that's not fair.
criteria?
No, that's not fair.
No.
No, that's not fair.
No, I think that's just
And
one
also,
indication.
we know that in academia, a lot of people's work gets stolen by their professors.
Yeah.
That's well known. I don't know.
I think I'm not sure if the Nobel Prize is completely apolitical as well.
Are we saying success is on the world stage in terms of being a superpower? Is that what determines if you're intelligent as a people?
I think there should be a lot of these studies. How gender equality is, freedom of press. How is your infrastructure? The amount of people, the children that dies or that passes 1 year old,
Yeah.
that survives. There's a lot of these parameters that you can look at. So basically, a country should develop itself in a way that that is developing. If you compare it to past self. So, for example, I think Nigeria are doing really, really good compared to itself 30 years ago.
Yeah.
So if you do like that, I think that's much for comparison. But the corruption part is the thing that disturbs me most, because that makes a country apathetic.
Yeah.
You feel that it's not worth doing because you think that it's already corrupt, and that's very, very dangerous. How do you look at Syria right now? It's very, very hard to stand up after corruption. Very hard. It could take 2-3 generations.
Yeah.
And I don't know, in Africa, Middle East, they've had huge problem with dictators.
Yeah.
And I don't know. I don't know. So many are leaving to come to Europe and so on. That's basically, and those who can do it is those with money. So like the smart people are leaving, and those who are rich, they're leaving. So what's going to happen to the nations? It's a little bit concerning to me.
Yeah. Did you see the Imran Khan, the Pakistani Prime Minister's speech when he became Prime Minister?
No. Is it doing good for the country?
Well,
not really.
He gave an announcement on TV that their government has this many mansions, this many cars,
really?
And what he's going to do is sell them off on auction.
The thing is,
surface.
Like I'm my parents, well, not my parents, my grandparents were born in Pakistan, and my parents were born in this country, and the thing is, so like they're a bit more in tune with the news over there, because they kind of get it directly, and when Imran Khan does a lot of these speeches, a lot of people think
populist. They think he's populist.
No, it's not about what he says. It's very superficial. Like it's more about giving himself a good image to make him look less corrupt, because Pakistani leaders are notoriously corrupt in the past. And but it's not making real change. The country has huge problems with like terrorism and the energy and so on and so forth. And these things are not making a change in the bigger picture. It's
Well,
like it's a nice sentiment. That's all.
but it brings us to the point we're talking about, and a lot of the issues in the country are due to the corruption that exists, and that's the thing he thinks is the number one priority. If he can root out corruption, make a cultural change in the country, where people become honest in their dealings, in their transactions, in their trade, in their contracts, then it will become a much better place to live.
The terrorism is just a symptom.
Yeah.
It's just a symptom. A lot of people feel that you can't fix it, so they go to violence.
Exactly.
Like the village that my family are from, the village, because
if your justice system is corrupt and you can't get justice, then that's when people are going to turn to terrorism. Sorry, I didn't mean to interrupt you.
No, it's okay. I'm ethnically I'm Afghan, so like we live close to the border of Afghanistan and Pakistan, and just an example of how little control the Pakistani government has on its country is that the village that my family are from were controlled by the Taliban for years.
Yeah.
And you know that girl Malala?
Yeah.
Yeah, she's from the same village as me, and she got shot when during the rule of the Taliban in that village.
They are killing creativity, no doubt about it. Have you seen? Of course, you have. Have you seen pictures from Afghanistan from the 60s?
Yeah.
Very functioning country. Lebanon, functioning country. So if you could destroy a nation within one generation, you can also fix it. I just think that there's a lot of nations that can go to find inspiration.
Afghanistan is beyond fixing for a long time.
You cannot say it.
For a long time.
You cannot say that.
You have to understand. You have to have a deep understanding of the culture and the people, and it's.
You need a lot. I mean, say what you want about Hitler. Did you know what he did for his nation? In like
Porsche,
15 years.
Mercedes, Volkswagen, all of this.
In 15 years, 20 years, what he did for his nation before he went nuts.
Most of the NASA scientists were German Nazis.
Yeah.
And
so the war started in the 40s, right? 1940s. The Great Depression was 1929. So that's less than 10 years. He lifted his nation incredibly in 10 years.
Now, I think if you want to like take emotion out of it, for German people at the time, Hitler was probably a good thing.
Yeah, until he went nuts.
I'm not saying that I believe that, but I think there's an argument to be made. Because a lot of the corporations that from Germany from that time still exist today, like Mercedes Benz, Porsche, Puma.
Was
Adidas.
he the one behind it?
No, but like it was under his rule.
Under his rule, yeah.
So it's not like he orchestrated
Volkswagen was his company, wasn't it?
It wasn't his, but it was like
it's the people's
car. The people's wagon. So like,
and he was his leadership that.
And look at the state of the USSR at the same time. They were very
USSR. What is that again? Can you remind me?
Soviet Union.
Oh, okay. Yeah. Well, though they are corrupt. The Chinese, the Venezuela. You seeing what's happening right now?
And we have corruption here too.
It's a different kind of corruption.
Where it doesn't have corruption, everywhere's got corruption. But out there it's some next level.
Venezuela. Have you seen videos?
Oh dear, I don't.
I haven't.
No. Could you show if I send you a link of Venezuelan?
If you show it on yours, Can you show it on yours, and I'll show it.
Yeah, you're right. I can show it. It's people protesting on the streets.
Recently, is it? Or...
Yeah, but you need to see the numbers.
Because I read yesterday or the day before that he tried to, what's it called? Their boss. He tried to get the gold from the Bank of England, and they prevented him from taking his gold.
Oh yeah, I heard you talking about this.
It's over $1 billion of gold he tried to get. Or was it 13 billion? I don't remember.
Venezuela, was it a communist nation?
Hugo
Chavez. It was Hugo Chavez. It was communist. Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, that's what's happened. You need to see this video. It's
socialists rather than communists. But where's the?
Well, it's soft communist. It's communist, but it's just.
Yeah.
Have you seen that video on Vice on about how in Cuba taxi drivers make more than doctors and engineers?
Really?
because they are the only people that whose salary is not dictated by the state, so they can charge people, especially foreigners, as much as they want, and they end up making more than doctors because they can choose how much they charge people.
Mhm.
Whereas
Go ahead,
doctors,
Techie. Simon, you can share your screen.
I'm on my phone right now. Can I
Okay.
send it to you, maybe?
Yeah. Send me the link. No problem.
Okay.
Sorry, JK. I interrupted you
no,
again.
no, it's okay, it's okay. It's like an awkward silence.
Oh, where are you, Tiki? I'll add you as a mod so you can share the link.
Yeah, that would be really good, actually. I was thinking about logging in, but hold on.
Just type a message in the box and
Okay.
I'll add you as a mod.
Ray Junior still here. Ray Junior.
On random second channel, Raj addressed gang and said if anything happens, he's gonna snitch because he ain't about that life. On what channel? Random exposure.
I think Random's got 2 channels.
Was he live?
I think it's a she.
Or she?
Oh.
Yeah, that's how she described himself or herself.
What, she spoke?
No, like referring to herself as a she.
Okay. Yep.
So that reduces it to a few people. No
Oh, it's
names.
Zubida. Is it Zubida?
No.
She's random exposure.
She's very new. She's very new.
Yeah, she was in the background all this time, wasn't she? In the shadows.
Yeah. Oh, cause
Dark,
the
the
puppet
dark
master.
channel. Yeah.
The dark channel.
Okay, Takia, you're now a mod.
Yeah, I'm trying to find my login. Okay, there. Okay.
Or if I just search for it, then I can do it.
No, it's on Twitter.
Okay.
I think I've seen your Twitter.
Yeah.
I'm not sure. I search for a lot of Speaker's Corner stuff on Twitter. See the backstage stuff.
Okay, I found it. It's just you'll see streets with people, and it's worth seeing. Okay, here it is. So I'm gonna post 2 links. Hold on.
I've seen. I drove past Hugo Chavez once in. You know that. I actually seen him. Oh, there we go.
Really?
I see that.
Real life?
Yeah, in real life.
What is he famous for? What have you done for his country? Besides destroying it, right? Like he's doing right now.
He did get a lot of public support. A lot of people supported him.
If you're against, if you have the United States against you, your chances of success is very slim.
Yeah.
Okay. Let's see if I can.
Did you get 2 links?
Yeah. Let me share my screen. Oh gosh.
What time is it in Sweden?
1 hour before you.
All right.
So it's later here.
All right. Let me share my screen.
Damn, I'm not even on the tab. Twitter. Oh, Rita Panahi. I've seen her channel, her Twitter before.
Can you see that?
Is he Iranian?
No, it's not on. It's not on the YouTube.
It's on the YouTube.
Is it?
No, it's not YouTube, but you have to click on it.
Oh yeah, it's on. It's on. Yeah, sorry, I was a bit behind.
Can you see my screen?
Yeah.
Let me just check.
Oh, I've seen this picture. Yeah, I saw this picture.
No, it's a video.
Yeah, I saw a picture of it. Yeah, in the newspaper.
But look how he has destroyed his nation. Look up how mad people are. and the amount of people.
So, do you imagine these people wanting to go to America now?
No, I think a lot of people are proud, they don't want to leave the nation, but they're tired of the corruption.
Oh gosh, that's like the whole country.
That is scary. It's
You
like a
see,
stampede.
So I mean,
What are they doing exactly?
they're protesting.
Hmm.
So something has happened there. It has crashed the economy. It's like the times around the Great Depression. You can go with a suitcase of paper or money.
Yeah.
It's worth nothing. So that's where they are.
What choices does he have?
I don't know. I mean,
Hugo Chavez, he's finished, isn't he?
What's the issue? There's no free market there.
I don't know. But this what happened to communist nation. They just crash. Because, maybe he's a soft communist, but that's what it's built on.
Oh, there's what's her name, Cortez. But my question to Simon and Reactionary is that why is it that so many young people still want communism?
Because they're idealists.
Yeah,
they think that if something is unfair, they think someone is stealing from another one, but they don't understand how wealth is created. So they just want to redistribute the wealth, and they think everything is going to be fine. But that will kill creativity, which is one of the pillars to build wealth.
I once read a quote. Sorry, go carry on.
I used to like it as well, communist, or I used to think the idea was nice until I understood what it's about, Because I was like, so if we're doing bad, someone else must have stolen from another one. That's basically their view. They look at the world with the lens of oppressor and someone who's oppressed.
I once read a quote that said, when you were young, if you were not a communist, you had no heart. And when you were older, if you're not a capitalist, you have no brain.
Is that really what they say?
It's an ethical concept of. I think is it utilitarianism, where what's good for one person should be good for everybody. So basically, you nobody should be too far ahead of other people. We should all be sort of equal.
But that kills creativity.
But that's not natural. That's not biology, though.
Yeah, so have a look at what Jeremy Corbyn or Ken Livingstone and these people say, that we should be taxed, 70% of our wealth and this type of thing.
They're killing my creativity. Why should I work hard then?
Yeah,
exactly.
This is a simple thing. This is a simple thing that really put me off Jeremy Corbyn, is that he wanted to ban grammar schools. And
what?
So in the UK we have grammar schools. So normally when kids go to school, it's called a normal secondary school. But there are some children, they take an entrance exam and they go to a grammar school, which is a school that is much better. The level of education is better, and usually, most of the time, 90% of the time, they get much better grades, and they go on to study at better universities, so on and so forth. So Jeremy Corbyn of the Labour Party wanted to ban them, and I was really against this, because there are some students whose parents push them and they try harder, they pass the exam, and they go to a better school. Why should they be put into a school with students who just go to school because it's a law?
Yeah, this is the problem with the communist mindset.
You know what I mean?
They want to change the outcome, while
equality of outcome.
Yeah, but we want to change we want to make it equality of opportunity.
Yeah. Exactly.
So everybody should have the same access to it, but then it's about performance afterwards.
Yeah, exactly.
Well, they want to change the outcome and call it racist or whatever, sexist or misogyny. It's just.
But if you look at the extreme end of capitalism, do you think it's morally correct?
I don't know much about.
Neither do I. I literally know nothing about economics. But generally speaking, do you think it's morally correct that a person like Jeff Bezos, the richest person in the world, has $130 billion concentrated in one person?
I think your question is flawed.
Okay, go on.
The reason is those people are 1% of the population. Not even that. I want to speak about the rest of 98%, Because you're trying to make a ruling.
You got a troll.
Kick him out.
Yeah, troll.
Kick him out. Okay, I muted him. Can you kick him out?
Okay.
Yeah.
Good.
So no, my question actually is, do you think it's fair? Not fair. Do you think it's morally correct that one person can have so much wealth? Should that be
Yes.
allowed?
Yes.
Because
there's a push right now to limit CEO salaries.
Jeremy Corbyn is doing that as well.
Yeah, well, in fact, we were looking at one of these organizations online the other day on our website on the panel. They what's the word? Anyway, they're an activist organization, an activist fund, and one of the things they're looking at is limiting CEO salaries. The average CEO is earning in the first 3 months of the year the same amount of money than an employee earns in a whole year, or something like that.
Well, it's about demand and supply. I mean, there's an assumption in your question that they have stolen from someone. No, look at Bill Gates. He didn't steal anything. He created something.
Does a CEO deserve to earn so much more money than any other employee in the company?
But then
Demand
again,
and supply.
but then
That's
again,
what it is.
how many people?
Well, no, wait.
Yeah.
What do you mean demand and supply? There's anybody can be a CEO.
Well, I mean,
No, they can't.
someone with competence needs to fill this place. And
the argument,
why pay him this amount if you can find someone else?
So I hear this a lot, but one could argue that the CEO doesn't necessarily perform. In fact, most cases of CEOs where they're getting huge salaries, their companies don't perform well. They actually perform the opposite.
Well, the companies are not giving away money if he's not worth it.
So the company, it's the environment you're in. The market might be going up, and the CEO is perceived to be doing well, but it's nothing to do with the CEO. Also, who's more important in the company? The person working in the shop, serving the customer with a smile, or the CEO who's never to be seen?
Well, it's about value. Different positions have different values, and some people can be replaced very easily. So I think the question is flawed there as well.
I don't think so. Anita Roddick, she founded the Body Shop. You know the Body Shop?
Oh yeah.
No.
Yeah, it's like a
cosmetic.
Cosmetic company. Yeah, natural cosmetic company.
Yeah.
And so before she died, she was going to introduce a new scheme in her company where everybody gets the same salary. So instead of everybody having a low salary and the CEO have a super high salary, it was meet somewhere in the middle. So everybody would have a higher than average salary for the average employee, and maybe a lower than average salary for the higher employees.
So do they take share of the risks as well?
Yeah, probably. Well, they all have an equal input into the company, so
but that's
they're all
like
kind of equal.
No, that's
like a doctor. That's like a doctor getting paid.
There
as
is
much
a company
as
in America that's doing that right now. Sorry?
That's like a doctor getting paid as much as a nurse.
Yeah.
Well,
why not?
That's killing creativity.
No, because the doctor, only like a heart surgeon can do a heart surgery.
Yeah.
And a nurse cannot. So
that's scarcity. That's economic scarcity. So you'd say in that case, supply and demand applies, and they can earn more money. But then you could say, okay, why don't we have more doctors? Well, maybe the education is too expensive. Let's open up the education system and make it free. Equalize the opportunity.
I tried to get into medical school. Not everybody can be a doctor.
Not everybody can be a nurse.
It's a lot more.
A good
people,
nurse,
a lot more
an effective nurse.
They also limit it for a reason. They could actually open up several universities to fill out, but then they will devalue.
Yeah, exactly. So it's protectionism.
Yeah, but it's also. They have counted for these things. They're going to devalue it, and then the salaries go down, and then it will just destroy that field.
So these GPs, these doctors, they tend to protect their industry by putting up barriers to entry.
Yeah, but it's also, I think to become a doctor, isn't like you have to study like 8 to 10 years?
5 years. 5 years in the UK.
5 years, and then you have to work for, is it like 3 years?
2 years.
2 years, and then what more?
Then
Exactly.
so 5 years
Huge
medical
barriers.
school, and
So
then
7
2 years,
years?
7 years, yeah. To
Is there a
become
year on top of that as
so
well, or
no,
is it 7 years?
5 years is medical school. Then 2 years you're a junior doctor.
Okay.
So you're still working as kind of like training, but you are qualified. So after 7 years, you're a full doctor,
Okay.
100%. Like you can work by yourself.
And you can go into a war-torn country where
Yeah.
somebody with no medical training is just working alongside some volunteer doctors from another country, and they pick up as much skills in a short amount of time than the most qualified trauma surgeon in the West.
Well, I doubt that. Yeah.
They get practical experience
Yeah.
with limited resources, no electricity, and all that kind of thing, right?
Sound like an idealist. Are you that?
Not really, but I am. I'm not convinced. All right, so I've done an MBA, right? I've been around some of these elites, and
Sure.
I'm not convinced. A lot of it is just protectionism. People saying that we're more important than the rest of people in society, and there's no truth behind it. In fact, they make some of the worst decisions that you could ever imagine. And that includes myself, right? I'm not talking about like I'm special, because I've been amongst these people, and it's a lie. And this thing about elite schools, right? Elite schools. What does that mean?
We have to speak about on a group level. That's when it
Elite
makes
schools.
sense.
What do you mean, elite schools?
Right. All right. No,
Oxford,
I
Cambridge.
can't. Any school. All right. Okay. There's certain schools I'll say they're worth their money.
Like
and
where?
if that's if you're in a field of research, perhaps in the chemical industry, like what stuff you're doing.
Yeah.
But where they do groundbreaking research and discoveries, that's fine. But if you're talking about, I don't know, just let's say somebody wants to go to study maths or English, or once again at advanced level, yes, but at basic bachelor's level, what makes these schools elite? Nothing, bro.
One thing that's interesting.
The only thing that gives them any rank is their barriers to entry. That's it.
Yeah, and the history.
You have to overcome a huge to get into Oxford.
Yeah,
you have to have at A level predicted grades. We're not talking about your actual grades. Predicted grades. That's before they invite you to interview, right?
Yes.
So your predicted grades have to be 3 A stars or something like that.
But they're based
really
off
high
your
level.
first year marks. They're based off your first year marks.
Yeah.
So you have to get 3 A's in your first, 4 A's in your first year to be predicted A stars and A's.
Yeah. So A levels have changed now. By the way, it's not like that anymore.
Yeah,
so
I know. It's at the end of the 2 years.
Yeah.
You're right. You're right. Yeah.
So what I'm trying to say is these barriers to entry stop people even getting through to an interview, whereas they may at the end of their A level get the full grades.
Well,
and
you
that
don't
can be
want to
for a number of
devalue
reasons.
That kind of happened to me, to be honest.
Well, your way will lead to inflation, which will kill the system.
No, it's not. I'm talking about equality of opportunity.
Okay.
And barriers to entry, I'm not a fan of, because barriers to entry is a form of protectionism. It's anti-free market.
But that's what stops inflation. Your ways leads to inflation. If everybody can access Oxford, they just widen the amount of people that they take in. You'll have inflation. Because
look at the United States. You know how much universities they've got in the United States? So many universities.
Yeah, United States is the size of Europe. So it's one nation, but it's like 52 states. So it's like 52 nations.
All right.
In size.
The UK has a lot of universities too. And yeah, Oxford. What makes Oxford and Cambridge better than any other university?
Well, I was thinking more about each.
No, I mean, what do they do to a student to make them any better than if they went to a different university?
I would say that there are things that they do, but yeah, you're right. It's a lot.
They teach the same books. A lot of the teachers are the same. They move from one university to another.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. I don't go to Oxford or Cambridge, but 3 of my teachers studied there, so it's the same thing when it comes to the basic
that's
science.
what I'm getting at. Is it the teachers is it the school that gives the education? Or is it like you can send your child to a state school and the parents teach the kid at home or they get tutors and the student does very well?
I'm against state schools now.
You can send your children to a private school and the school does nothing for your children. They just neglect them and they blame the parents. They expect all the education to be done at home. So to me, it's not the schools that actually do the education. They just set requirements on you. You have to do it yourself.
Ultimately, the
Have you?
yeah.
You go first. You go
No,
first.
no.
Have you heard about Nauru? It's a formula regarding economy.
No.
This guy actually won
Nauru.
Yeah, Nauru. You can Google that if you want.
How do you spell it?
Nairu. Nauru formula. So he won a Nobel Prize. I think it was in the 1970s. What he basically, it's a mathematical formula where he counted that every nation needs to have 7.8, I think, amount is the percentage of what is called when you don't have work.
Unemployment.
Mm.
When you have lower than that, if you have like 2% unemployment, then what happens is the people can always apply for another job. So they will threaten the employer that they want higher salary. And if the employer say no, then there's always shortage for staff. So what happens is that will drive up the salaries, which will inflate the economy. So within time, you will have inflation, huge inflation. So his advice was, you should always the bank, the central bank of the nation, should always make sure to increase the what is called the thing that they. I mean, if I owe you money, what is called? In my country. No.
Interest.
Interest, yeah. Let me see. Let me just make sure. In my.
No, it's debt. If you owe me money, it's debt.
Yeah, I think it's debt. Yeah.
Or credit, depending which.
Interest rate. Yeah, so the interest rate should always balance out the economy, so you will produce unemployment on purpose to make sure that the unemployment will never go below 7.8%. So knowing this, for example, in my country, both left and right parties has all accepted this formula. So we are run by this formula. So if we are going to produce unemployment to 7.8%. In the nation, who are the most vulnerable to become these people? Right? The young people that lacks knowledge, lack language, older people. Some people are already vulnerable to become one of these 7.8%. So knowing this, when they promise that we're gonna decrease the unemployment when the unemployment rate is like 7.9, it's just charade. It's just something that they say on the surface. What do you guys think about this?
Sounds like you're talking about applying the Keynes model of managing the economy on the unemployed.
What is Keynes?
John Maynard Keynes.
Never heard about him.
So he went to Cambridge University. He was a professor at Cambridge University. Yeah. And after World War II, was it after World War II? Yeah, I think it was after World War II. He introduced the recovery, the economic recovery program for Germany.
Yeah.
And he also, in the United States, they had a big problem with their economy.
Yeah.
It was him who they turned to introduce, what was it? Yeah, to manage interest rates to control inflation.
Yeah.
And so he was credited with being the super wizard mind of economics until the growth of the Frederick von Hayek and Milton Friedman. Right, so Milton Friedman was in the University of Chicago, and then they brought in Frederick von Hayek from Austria.
Yeah,
and he was a free marketeer, and then gradually their approach to economics took traction until Reagan came to power and gave them full whatever the word is, full backing, and Margaret Thatcher as well. And that's what defeated the Soviets, the economic free markets. Yeah. So it's an excellent documentary. Check it out. It's called The Commanding Heights.
Okay.
It's a PBS documentary. If you get a minute, watch that.
Sure.
It explains the whole thing about Keynes and Milton Friedman.
So I guess my model, or the Nauru model that I'm referring to, is something that my nation, I think there's more more nations actually have accepted this. He actually won a Nobel Prize for this. So both left and right parties has accepted this model. So the central bank will always work against inflation or unemployment,
which is the Keynes approach, which is anti-free market, and according to Friedrich von Hayek, who was strict on his approach, is actually a form of slavery, or not slavery, a form of government socialist. Like it's anti-freedom, basically.
Well, it is to resist inflation. So it's not like they have evil intention.
Correct. It's well intended, but at the same time, he has a book called The Road to Serfdom, right? Okay. Friedrich von Hayek. If you get to read that book, it's all about this.
Have you read it yourself?
Yeah, I read part, not the whole thing.
Yeah. So you get the big picture. Yeah.
Yeah. So The Road to Serfdom, and there was a good.
George
Orwell wrote a good comparison about that. He done a book review about that versus Keynes.
Okay.
It's very interesting. But yeah, so the point I was trying to get at, if you ever heard of Senator Ron Paul?
Yeah.
So he pretty much puts forward the the von Hayek approach to economics, which is if you listen to Ron Paul, then you're basically listening to that approach of economics. And it's fascinating.
So I guess the question is, some people will be the first one to go, right? They will become unemployed. And we know who are more vulnerable, or some people are more vulnerable than others. So we don't all start at the same place.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
So yeah, that's something that's quite interesting.
We don't all start at the same place.
Yeah. The government are manufacturing unemployment. Older people will be more sensitive, more vulnerable for this. Younger people, I don't know if there's any gender differences.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
I've got a question. What do you two think about universal basic income? Sorry, my nose is a bit blocked.
What is that? Universal income? What do you mean?
Universal basic income is when everyone in all the citizens in the country get a basic salary just for being a citizen. So everyone who is a British citizen...
Who's going to pay for that? Nothing is free. Who's going to pay for that?
I don't know, but that's what some people are like.
You say who's going to pay for it, but if you look at some of the wealthy countries in the world, they have a huge amount of GDP, don't they? But what happens to that GDP? Where does it go? Who does it benefit?
I'm not talking about Bangladesh doing it. I'm talking about America and the UK and stuff.
I think they introduced it in one of the European countries recently as a trial. It may have been Denmark. I don't remember. Switzerland.
But a few American.
They do it in the Middle East, in some of the Gulf countries. Yeah.
Oh yeah, Kuwait does it. Yeah.
Yeah. I don't know.
But once again, look, you can compare it to Milton Friedman had a TV program. He was going into this stuff as well. He said, where you have a welfare system, what happens is people become reliant on that welfare state.
Exactly.
They become lazy.
Actually, you get people who just then they exploit it. It happens in the UK. That's why there's so much difficulty and obstacles in getting welfare and staying on it, because of all the people who've exploited it.
And the people that actually need it sometimes don't get it.
Correct.
Do you agree that taxes is theft?
No.
To some extent, yes.
Yeah.
No. And this is the free market approach. Correct.
Nobody asked me for consent. They just assume it, and then the majority will vote if, for example, my nation, we have 33%, 34% at taxes.
Yeah.
What's your level in your country?
There's a lot of things that we're not asked for with regards to consent in society, but we're born into it. Society accepts it and forces it on us.
Yeah, I do understand why it's there, but I mean, if people can vote for what I'm going to do with my money, I mean, it's not just 34%. It's actually taxing things that I'm buying. So they add 25% on that. And
they just introduce taxes whenever government, it will introduce a tax whenever they want, just to raise revenue. Yeah. What gives the government the right to tax you? Who is the government?
The majority will vote for what's going to happen with my money, and the majority are I guess, they are working class people, I think.
And exactly, you got a good point there. And this is what was it von Hayek or Milton Friedman said? Milton Friedman said this: if I spend my money on myself, okay, when I go shopping, I'm going to make sure I take the time to find the best product with the best features for the best price. Correct?
Yeah.
And I'll choose the best item. I'm not just going to spend my money on anything for myself.
Yeah.
If I spend my money on you, I want to buy you a gift.
See your point. Yeah.
I will take a little bit less care, right? I won't go into so much detail about what the features are. And I'll probably spend a little bit less money if I can. Now, so that's me spending my money on somebody else. What if I spend somebody else's money on somebody else? And that's what government is about. You take someone else's money and you spend it on people you don't know.
I used to look down on American model. I mean, you guys probably know, the poor have to get their healthcare fixed themselves. And basically, the government is small there, or much smaller than I guess Scandinavia and the UK, I guess.
Yeah.
But right now, I'm starting to understand it. You're not using your own money, so you'll not be careful. That's why one of the reasons why the Soviets were collapsing, because people did not care about it. It was not their money, so everybody's try to start to exploit it. But if you get a smaller government, if you get more reliable on your village, your town, your neighbors,
yes, like
then
Iceland.
you'll do. Iceland, is that how they?
Very, very good country. Yeah, I wouldn't mind. From what I read about Iceland, like for example, when the financial collapse happened in 2007, they put their bankers in prison.
Beautiful.
They were not some elite class that were immune from prosecution.
So how come that they could do that, but Spain could not do it? Was it Greek as well?
Yeah, because Iceland's a small country.
Yeah.
So everybody knows everybody. It's like it's a small community.
It's not like we're lacking information on those who did it in Spain and Greece.
Yeah, but the society is structured in a way that you have tiers and elite.
I like that. Yeah,
it's not like Iceland where everybody knows each other. They all live in the same neighborhoods. I think in Japan, for example, they had. I don't know if Japan has that level of those tiers of society, but I know that in Japan, their CEO of Japan Airlines takes the train to work just with everyone else and eats lunch in the same cafeteria.
Oh, I see.
In the UK, that doesn't happen with CEOs. They're separate from the rest of the company.
Yeah, so definitely smaller government. And then, people, this collectivism, we just lost it. And also, the household with single parents, it's increasing because the state's now becoming the daddy.
Yeah.
So we need to become more reliable on each other. I think that's very important. That's one of the keys of the West that we have lost in just one generation. Small government.
Part of it is urbanization as well. Part of the problem is that.
Oh, of course. But that was in the 120 years ago, right? 1890, 80, something like that. So that's been a while. But if you just look at the single household. In the 50s, 60s, it was very different in Europe.
Yeah.
But then the government became big and it basically destroyed the family. So, small government, I definitely think that's better. Have you been in Asia, let's say Japan, China, any of you?
No,
Japan,
I
China.
haven't, no.
That would
what you're saying about smaller government, that means they become more accountable.
Yeah, of course.
The bigger the government is, the less accountable it is, and that's when you have tyranny and wastage and whatever else.
Yeah, I like that America has 52 states that basically you have federal laws, but then you have smaller states that will decide some of the laws themselves. So if you want to have more conservatives,
yet their tax is unbelievable. Right? They have all sorts of taxes, but I mean, if you get to see this documentary, check it out. Yeah. It's called America: Freedom to Fascism.
Okay, that wasn't neutral.
There was a movie with Eddie Murphy. It was called Trading Places.
I've seen that.
And the producer of that movie, his name was Mike Rivera. No, I've forgotten his name anyway. This guy, before he died, he made this movie. It's a documentary. It's called America: From Freedom to Fascism, and he interviewed a number of people in the Federal Reserve. Very, very big people in society.
That's cool.
And he was explaining how all these taxes came about without anyone's consent, just as you described. and it's a really, really good documentary, worth watching.
Yeah, definitely. But yeah, I do like this, that they have different kind of states. That if you're more liberal, if you like that, then you go to LA. You know, if you're more conservative, then you know, so you can go to whatever fits you.
Texas.
I really like that. I think it's top down ruling.
Federal.
Yeah, I don't like that at all. So I mean, different part of the nation had different cultures, right? And then people can move more to whatever fits them. I really like that. And then you're more reliable on the village that you go to, so you can create.
Like Switzerland as well.
Is that just okay?
Switzerland is made of cantons. You could say they're like states, mini countries within a country, and they even have different languages.
Can they change their laws as well?
Yeah,
that's beautiful.
Yeah.
Then
they have a federal law. You have a federal government as well.
Of course,
it's made up of the leader of each canton. But the cantons are small little regions, and you have a lot more say in it. You'll be a bigger fish in a smaller pond, wouldn't you?
Yeah. All right, my battery's dying. It's time to go to sleep, guys. Thank you for the conversation.
Thank you.
No problem, Simon. Good to see you, mate.
Care.
Catch you later. Bye.
Take care. Bye. Yes, JK.
Yeah, that was pretty good.
So yeah, that was fun. I enjoyed that.
You know a lot about economics.
I was talking way too much there, and you know when you're half asleep, and I'm probably talking a lot of nonsense. Sorry, I probably sound drunk.
It was actually quite interesting because I have almost no knowledge on economics.
Yeah, I studied economics. So.
Yeah.
Anyway, and you have to know about economics when you're doing trading as well, because I did a bit of trading. So all you spend your whole day watching Bloomberg, and you have to know what they're talking about. So you watch out for people like you watch people like Mario Draghi, listen to his comments.
But
are they dovish or are they hawkish on the economy? You have to know what all those terms mean. Bullish, bearish. Hey,
what software?
There's different software out there, but there's something called CQG. That's something I'm familiar with.
So like these websites, like what's that? Plus something, plus 300, plus 500.
Yeah, they're just brokerage houses.
Are they
you
like?
Can sign up.
Is that like
they're retail? Yeah, they're good. For the average retailer, yeah.
But are they people say like all this trading stuff is sort of rigged. Is that like a conspiracy theory? Or like some people,
to be honest, I think there is a level of rigging. Yeah.
Or like some people get the news beforehand, so they know what's going to change. So they can know what to buy to sell it at a higher price.
Well, that's what that's called market intelligence, which hedge funds would probably spend billions to get that kind of information. Yeah. You've also got speed of trades, which is based on the type of fiber network or whatever telecommunication system you're using to get your trade executed faster than somebody else's.
So you need the fastest internet.
Got algorithms on your computer that can react to certain market information and execute certain trades quicker. So speed is one of the key factors.
Right.
But ultimately, it's intelligence. It's market intelligence. It's getting information.
So how so? Like you or I make a living off that? Is it possible?
It's possible. Yeah. Depends how much. Well, obviously, the more money you have, the more your trades will have an impact. The less money you have, you'll spend a lot of hours making hardly any money. You could be better off working in ASDA. It just depends. But yeah, you can get into it.
Are you good at mathematics?
I was when I was in school, but not since then.
All right, because it looks very.
It
seems very. I wasn't naturally good at mathematics, but you kind of have to force myself because of what I'm doing.
Well, mathematics is a broad field, bro. It depends what you're talking about. If you're talking about trigonometry, I'm not bad at that. SOHCAHTOA. You know SOHCAHTOA?
SOHCAHTOA, sine, tan, cosine, opposites.
Exactly, that kind of thing.
We call it
1 in 60 rule. Yeah, SOHCAHTOA.
Yeah, that's what we call it. I remember that. I'm not really good at geometry. We have to do like I mainly do calculus.
Yeah,
Mainly
whatever that
advanced.
means. Yeah.
Differentiation, integration.
I used to be good at algebra.
Yeah, it's kind of like algebra. It's Dingy came up with calculus. What's his name? What's that guy's name?
Algebra.
Newton.
Oh, Newton. Yeah. Okay.
Yeah, he didn't come up with it, but he's like he kind of
Coined it. Maybe.
sort of, yeah. He's like a
Hey,
very
look.
big contributor.
Our likes have gone up to 15. 15 likes, 14 dislikes. Quite an achievement.
It says 8 likes on mine. Let me refresh
Yeah.
it.
That's quite an achievement because we were down against the dislikes earlier.
15. I've liked it, so
I don't understand why we got 14 dislikes. What was the dislike about the chat? I don't know.
I don't know. Like some people,
Somebody was very unhappy with us that we were online at this time of the day or night. He was like,
it was
"Don't you have something to do?"
He got
No,
like 10
Job
accounts.
Center Plus. Job Center Plus.
Yeah, it's
He was
better to
very
come on
unhappy.
earlier. It's better to come on earlier because now.
Well, I did. I came on at 11. I intended to go to bed at 12.
I mean, like 9 o'clock or something.
Yeah, it's true.
Yeah, because I'm gonna be awake all day now because I'm gonna be writing.
I was watching Raj though, mate. Well, a bit of Raj. I went on for about 2 minutes. Think.
You know, the thing about
left.
him, he intends to stay on for an hour, and then at 2 hours he's like, okay. He starts putting on his outro music. He sees a comment, so he's like, what? And then he starts like going crazy for like another hour.
He's quite entertaining, I have to say. Yeah,
he has like his natural ability to like. He's good at acting. So,
yeah,
like a lot of people can't engage the audience that well. He has a natural ability. I'm not sure if he realizes it though.
Without a panel, just talking to the live chat. He does a good job.
If that was me, I'll have like one viewer, and
he's got all these little what do you call
props.
All these props.
Yeah. Have you seen like the thing he had, the belt? It's like a cowboy belt, and he's like practicing. You know, like in the Western films, the person who kind of gets a gun out first and shoots. Yeah, he was practicing that with a selfie stick. He was like, that's what he's gonna do when he sees Omar. It was hilarious. He was doing the full stance, you know, because they kind of their legs were kind of wide.
Yeah.
And they got their like hands waiting to like grab the gun.
Was that today?
It wasn't today. It was the last one. It was like he looked like something Clint Eastwood. He is a funny guy, man.
Who's that? We got a message from.
He addressed
Tim
you today as
Asuna.
well. He addressed you.
Did he?
Yeah, right. He was like, "What have you got great doing?" You know, he's getting angry. Like he goes when he sees you at the park, he's gonna put a camera in your face to make you famous.
Yeah.
Because you've got a pretty distinctive voice.
Oh gosh.
He's gonna be hunting
careful.
you.
That's why I had to go at night. I can't go in the daytime.
What happens if somebody does reveal your identity?
Oh well, that's life. What can you do?
Will you delete your channel?
I have to disappear.
Would you really?
No, joking. I don't know. No, I'll probably continue. I don't know. I'd rather not. I'd rather just be private in that sense. But we'll see.
I think it's better like that.
Yeah. Because people will box you in with your opinions. They'll say, "Oh, the reason you say that is because of this."
Yeah, that's true.
Because you are this. No wonder. And your opinion is sort of discounted. Tim Asuna said, the panel, do you see this as morally good or bad? Whatever he's talking about. Abu Mujahid has melted, says Kilowatts. Tim Asuna says it was tried by the mayor of Sacramento. I think he's talking about what you suggested in universal basic income. Job Center Plus says, poor wives married to this supposed men online 24/7. Spend time with your wife and children, people.
I'm not married.
Yeah. It's probably my wife talking to me there. If I've got a wife.
Are you married? Oh.
Possibly. I didn't say I am.
Oh, right.
It's possible, isn't it?
It's possible.
Always possible. Lots of things are possible.
That day when you were walking around McDonald's and then you tried to get that pound exchange for the dollar. Well, I don't know what you were doing, but Steve was in the chat and he was like, show your face. He
Yeah,
wants
but
to
that's why I went to the counter so that
Yeah.
people could look in the reflection and see me, but it didn't seem to work. Oh well. Give clues, you know. He was telling me to go to a gay bar.
Why?
I don't know. I thought, all right, let me go there. See how they react when they see me.
Oh, are you like? Can people tell you're Muslim? Do you have like a beard?
Maybe, maybe
All
not.
right. Yeah.
Maybe not.
Yeah.
But I didn't go.
Yeah. Yeah. I know. Yeah. What's that thing you were saying about prescriptions in those Arab pharmacies?
Oh, yeah. If you don't have a prescription, you shouldn't be able to get certain medication.
Yeah.
But those pharmacies were in the papers as you know, you could pay them a bit of money and they'll do it. So
Oh, seriously. It's kind of bad, but it's kind of good. It's sometimes hard to get a prescription. You need.
like if your GP's closed and you run out of
Yeah.
medication, what are you going to do?
It must be expensive though.
Yeah, probably.
It's on the NHS like £8 for a prescription, I think. Isn't it?
I don't know, mate.
You don't use the NHS?
Sorry?
You don't use the NHS?
No, not really. I try to avoid medication and all that stuff.
Oh,
Yeah,
I thought you were like just private.
yeah, I am
Well,
as
you,
well.
you use private medicine. I've only used it once, and it's expensive. It's like £300 just to see the doctor for like 10 minutes.
It depends on what you have to take medical insurance package.
No, it wasn't medical
With
insurance. It was like it was just like
just a private consultation. Okay,
yeah,
yeah,
yeah.
yeah.
So
No, then that's going to be too expensive.
yeah,
It only makes sense. Let's say you work for a company and your company's got a medical package for
yeah.
your staff. Then it
Oh
makes
yeah,
sense.
yeah. I mean, like footballers can't get medical insurance because they'll be too much. Like if you look at
Yeah.
Bupa, they say like
Mm.
like footballers and athletes can't have it because they're
Mm.
very likely to get injured, and
Yeah.
it'll be too much stress on them, and like they're always in and out of the hospital, even for little things, because they have such high value to the team.
Yeah.
They're commodities. They are pretty much to the team. If they pay 100 million for him, they want him to be in tip top shape.
Mm. Watch this. Watch this. Abu Mujahid. Omar.
How you know that thing Raj does?
Do you reckon he'll wake up? What does Raj do?
You know, like Omar.
Yeah.
He had this female friend, and every time Omar went kind of crazy on the phone, she'd be like, "Put the phone down, Omar, Omar," and then Raji just exaggerated it, and then like he always does it now. You know Omar I'm talking about, the one from Speaker's Corner.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't want to call him
He's,
the other name.
yeah, no. Yeah, I have to give it to Raj. He's funny. He's a funny guy.
He is funny. Anyway, how long are you staying on for?
Probably another 10 minutes or 8 minutes.
Since this live stream's been running, I've got 1,000 words done. 982. Not bad. So I've got
That's
like
very
another
good, bro.
2,000. No, I need to refine it though. Writing is keep on revising it to make it look good, to make it read nicely. It's about aminoglycosides, type of antibiotic.
Yeah.
Yeah. Aminoglycosides.
Job Center Plus. Why are you online? Why aren't you spending time with your wife and children? Pointing the fingers at others. Oh, dear. Anything further going on? I didn't even check the BBC website. What the news is today?
Man City lost to Newcastle.
Oh, really?
They're like second in the table.
Who's number one?
Liverpool.
Mm-hmm.
Man City are second, and they lost to Newcastle, which are like third from last. There's a penalty, that's why. So.
Oh, Friends.
Friends, a TV show.
Yeah, they're talking about it on the BBC website. Why? I don't know.
Having a reunion or something. I actually used to watch that.
Yeah.
when I was in school, secondary school. I watched every episode twice.
Boy 17 killed in Islington stabbing, 3 arrested.
Oh, stabbing. Have you ever seen a stabbing?
What do you mean? In real life?
Yeah.
No, alhamdulillah.
Neither have I.
But I've seen videos of it though, sadly, online.
Yeah,
There's this one where these kids chased someone into a shop. They jumped off their bikes, chased this boy into a shop, and then the boy ran behind the counter, and one of the lads stuck his hand over the counter and put the knife into him. Did you see that one?
Yeah.
Shocking.
Oh,
disgusting.
damn! Sorry, I have seen the stabbing. Oh my god, how did I forget? It was in secondary school.
Is it?
It was in a. It was an accident, but this guy got stabbed in the arm with a pair of scissors, but they were really sharp. These really sharp scissors, and his arm just fully cut open. Because it was an accident, it didn't look as bad because they weren't fighting. It was just like a freak accident.
Oh,
when it's malicious, it's a bit.
UFC 229. Conor McGregor suspended for 6 months.
Yeah, I saw that.
And what does it say? And fined $50,000.
And Habib
received a 9-month suspension and fined $500,000. Oh wow!
Yeah.
Subhanallah.
But Habib was getting backing for a long time by this Russian oligarch. He's a billionaire. Ziauddin Magomed something, and he went to put him in prison. And if you at the end of one of when they have the post fight interview with Joe Rogan, they he actually asked Putin to be easy on his on that guy in Russian, and then Joe Rogan says, can you translate? And he goes like, my brother's in trouble. He needs help. He didn't want to translate it fully.
Yeah,
it's quite a sensitive topic, but because he was literally like financing everything. He's a billionaire, so now he's gone. He has to make all the money himself. So 500K, I imagine it's a lot more.
Crazy.
But then again, Habib is he's doing world tours. He's going to like UAE, all these other countries. So he must be getting paid for each visit. It's not for free. Did you watch that fight?
Which one?
Conor Habib.
Yeah.
I watched that fight like 5 times.
I done a video clip on my channel. If you get a chance to see it, it's about the referee's behavior.
I seen it. I saw it.
You seen it?
Yeah.
What was he doing? I didn't get what he was doing with his hand.
I think he spit on it or something.
I got no idea, bro.
I think Habib wanted to humiliate Conor fully, and he tried to spit on him, but it caught on Herb Dean's arm or something. The referee.
Maybe.
But he looked down definitely suddenly.
Yeah.
It was a bit
looked like he's looking at his phone or something. I just got a text. But and then he wipes his hand. I don't know. That was hilarious for me. I had to examine that in more detail.
It was a good fight though. He's a very dominant performance.
A
very dominant performance.
And his action after the fight is what really made it memorable.
Yeah.
Had he not done that,
that's iconic.
Talking about it.
That's iconic. Like that kind of stance, when he's in midair and his knees are like close to his face, sort of. Like when he.
Yeah. And they
People...
made a logo out of that.
Khabib.
Yep.
That's pretty funny.
He's on a world tour right now. He's gone all over the place.
Yeah.
Australia at the moment, I think.
Australia. I hate Australia. It's too hot. Like where I'm from in Pakistan right now, it's like 4 degrees in the day, -4, and it's like it's cold all year round, but in the winter it's crazy. It's very mountainous.
Oh gosh.
So I can't take hot weather. Like the British summer for me, I'm like.
Is it snowing where you are?
Yeah. So
really?
A bit. It started today.
Where I am, there's no snow. But on the road on my way to where I am now, there was a lot of snow hitting my car.
Yeah, there's a bit of snow. It's just started, but Do you remember back in the day, like 10, 15 years ago, November, it would be like fully snow, like not snowing, but it would be like winter.
Yeah,
Nowadays, it starts in like January.
January, February, even. Yeah, you're right.
What do you make of this climate change thing?
Nothing really.
You don't believe it?
I don't know. Obviously, there is. I don't know. I don't know. Don't know.
I believe it. I believe in it very quite
Yeah,
strongly, very firmly.
good. Yeah, I don't know, bro. If there is climate change, as you say, what's the cause of it?
What do
You say it's man-made, man caused by man.
yeah.
Hmm.
Because of the carbon emissions and
But
um,
nothing to do with the solar.
which leads to the greenhouse gas effect.
Hmm.
You don't think so?
Don't know, mate.
Sorry?
Don't know. I really don't know. I really don't know.
I have looked into it in depth, but like not. I could look into it much more and get proven wrong. But according to what I know at the moment, there's a lot of evidence supporting it.
Hmm.
Yeah, I'm really into like renewable energy and stuff.
Yeah.
Solar
Palestinian
panels.
government resigns. There's a lot going on in Yemen, apparently.
Yeah, Houthis and all that.
Saudi tourism body seeks hotel room boost.
Sorry?
I was reading the Arab newspaper, arabnews.com.
Arab News.
I'll share my screen. Let me see. There we go. There we go. So this is the paper.
1 second. Saudi Arabia. Soldier prisoner. Have you heard of Adil Al Jubair?
Yeah.
What do you
Saudi
make of him?
foreign minister.
Yeah, what do you make of him?
Very talented. Probably the most talented Saudi I've ever seen.
Same. He's like the way he speaks fluent German.
German?
Yeah, he does. He's addressed like a German audience a few times. Like pure, like fluent German, and he's very educated. I don't know, wherever they found him, they're lucky.
Yeah.
Is he part of the royal family or
no?
No. Yeah, so
maybe somehow
elite
sister-in-law
family,
or something.
Family,
yeah. Hey,
elite family maybe. Like
elite.
like like an elite family that's like not the royal family but a bit below.
Yeah. They're Al Jubair. So is a known family in Saudi Arabia.
Yeah.
A Libyan oil field won't reopen until occupiers leave. Okay, interesting. Saudi Arabia's journey is just beginning. Is it really? Wow.
Tourism. Saudi tourism. How's that going to work? What are they going to look at?
Don't know. Huh?
Just walking around in the desert.
Yeah. People wouldn't mind visiting the desert.
No, which is nice, but like that's all. Like there's not much variety.
Yeah. What they're doing is building some new city worth $500 billion.
Have you heard of that university in Saudi Arabia? That's mainly open to like foreign students, and it's like only engineering and sciences.
Yeah.
What is it called?
King Abdullah University for
KAUST. Yeah, King Abdullah University of Science. I actually applied there, but I didn't go through the full. Like, there's different stages of application. My parents told me, said don't do it. they didn't want me to leave, but
it's not. I wouldn't suggest you go there for any serious education. Maybe even do research once you finished your.
Masters.
What are you doing? Masters? Yeah. Once you finish that, maybe do a joint research program with them or something.
I'm not gonna lie. At the time, it was like it was also because of money, because they pay you to do it.
Oh
so
wow!
I was interested to. I was like, oh yeah, I could save up.
Why not? If they're paying you, go.
Yeah, I think it goes to like 30,000. Yeah, somebody jumped off. Who was it? Abu
Abu
Mujahid.
Mujahid. Yeah.
Yeah, but that's in Mecca, not the city Mecca, like a province Mecca.
Yeah.
Which I didn't know existed. I thought it was just a city.
Yeah.
But I'm kind of happy I didn't go.
Look, do you remember earlier there was a discussion about judges?
Yeah. Oh yeah,
It says
mass Muslim.
King Salman appoints 101 judges.
101 judges. I
The
don't know.
number 101.
Dalmatians.
Room 101. Yeah, 101 Dalmatians. Saudi Arabia's nuclear power. Do they have nuclear power in Saudi Arabia?
Oh, I didn't know. I did not know that.
They did that secretly, didn't they? Or quietly.
You know, like
Oh,
this.
they're planning to develop reactors. Yeah, but we know that these reactors have issues. Not good. Remember what happened in Japan not so long ago?
Fukushima.
Yeah.
And Chernobyl as well.
Yeah.
That's like the popular one.
I mean, they can invest in solar power because they got a lot of
Sun.
yeah, and a lot of space in terms of desert.
Yeah. What's that desert called?
The empty quarter.
Yeah,
But
Rubble
you've
Khali,
also
I think.
you've also got an issue apparently with solar panels that they're affecting birds' migratory patterns, and some birds are actually dying when they cross over these solar panel areas.
Oh right.
Yeah.
And I thought the problem was going to be their efficiency, because they're not very efficient.
Well, that should improve with time and technology.
Yeah, they will. They will. I think the maximum now is like 20%.
Mm.
I'm not sure.
What
What
Look
is
at the
that?
Tunisian president.
I've never even seen him before. Where is it?
Would you think he's Tunisian by looking at him?
I can't see him very well. Is it? Can you zoom in?
Try it. It's not getting much bigger. Yeah. You see that?
Yeah, slightly. He looks, yeah. Like, I wouldn't guess it, but like if somebody says he's Tunisian, I think, yeah, he's some sort of North African Arab or something. Like, it's like Zidane. When you see Zidane, you think he's European.
Do you remember we were talking about fake videos? I don't know if you remember. I talked about the Khashoggi case, the killing of the journalist. And I was talking about the possibility that it was actually the CIA who issued the order to the hit squad to kill the man, pretending to be King Salman issuing the order, right? By doing a fake.
To instigate some sort of tension.
Yeah. So here it says misinformation woes could multiply with deep fake videos. And that's something I talked about on my channel.
All right.
Carnegie Mellon University researchers last year revealed techniques that make it easier to produce deep fakes by machine learning. I talked about this, bruv.
Here's the game, man. Are you sure you didn't write it? What's the author's name?
I didn't write this, but he probably stole it from me, bruv. The one thing he hasn't mentioned is he hasn't linked it to the Khashoggi case.
Do you know how do you pronounce his name?
Khashoggi.
I'm just going to call him Jamal.
Say Kha.
Kha.
Shog.
Shog.
G.
Khashoggi.
Yeah.
His uncle was a very popular arms salesman.
Yeah. Well, if you say the way
Adnan
CNN say it, they say Khashoggi. Yes.
And I did not realize when I looked into his Madkhali channel. Look at that.
Where?
Alpha Q.
Huh?
On YouTube, on the YouTube comment.
Oh, what does it say?
Madkhali channel.
Alpha Q. Do you notice the name is a bit of a swear word?
I did not realize that.
Can you tell?
Yeah. It's like what you did with your mother.
Your mother.
But like yours was a lot more. It wasn't that bad.
Mine was obvious.
Yeah. No, it wasn't. Yeah, it was obvious to us because
Yeah.
we speak English as our first language.
Yeah.
But the
The
other guy was a
Alpha
bit
Q
lost.
was a little bit more vague and bit ruder. What should I do? Should I remove him or what should I do?
It's not.
Hey Q, should I leave you around or should I get rid of you? What do you want me to do?
It's not very
It's like you're
malicious.
asking to get kicked. Yeah, but that name, man, he needs to sort that out. Do you think that's actually Wiso coming to get revenge?
He doesn't know what Madkhali is.
Yeah, he does.
No. He just knows about the basics. Like he'll quote hadith. Like Madkhali is like sort of a cultural political term.
All right. So then, who else could it be? It must be someone that knows you and me, right? So it must be someone from Go MI5.
Yeah.
Now, is it Go MI5 himself, the
No.
notorious one,
He would
or
do
is
it
it
himself.
the Frenchie? Huh?
Yeah, well, you're probably the French guy.
The
He's more
Frenchie.
nerdy.
Is it our
I just
French
don't
friend?
know. I just don't know. That's what he says all the time.
Actually,
He's a funny guy.
actually, is it you actually?
He's a funny guy. Abu Zakaria.
French
That's what he calls himself. Abu
Abu
Zakaria.
Alam.
Alam Zakaria.
Alam. You know, Alam means pain in Arabic.
I did not know that.
Alam.
I studied Arabic for 1 year and that's it.
Yeah.
Like formally.
Where?
In university, like you can have the option to take an extra module. So I just chose Arabic. But they didn't let us carry on for the second year. So I didn't. But it did get hard towards the end of the first year. And it started to get a bit crazy. Are you fluent in Arabic?
I wouldn't say I'm fluent, but I'm capable.
You can hold a conversation?
Yeah, just about.
That's good.
I understand more than I speak. What have I missed? Yeah, he's not. Oh, there he goes. He says, Q Kenny Body. What's Kenny Body?
I don't know. You have to watch out before reading that.
Kenny Body. What could he mean by that? We know what alpha and the next letter means, but what could the rest mean? In your body, is that what he's trying to say?
Maybe. Or anybody. And the K is connected to the Q.
Anybody.
But that doesn't make sense.
Come on, up your game, Q.
Maybe we're looking too much into it. You know, like
no, bro, we're not. Huh? You reckon?
You know, when you did like a poetry at GCSE.
Yeah.
And they'd be like, the curtain's black, and this signifies the darkness of the soul. And and Shakespeare's like, listen, man, the curtain's black.
Yeah. Because the light was off.
You have to do it for the grade, though.
Yeah. Well, when I did English, everything had to go root back towards sex. Everything my teacher, everything that the author wrote about had something to do with sex.
It's quite a common theme in Shakespeare as well.
Oh, Ryanair takes 100% of Austrian airline Laudamotion. Yeah? What do you understand from that?
Ryanair takes 100% off. It takes all of it.
Yeah.
It sounds like it takes 100% off, but it's
why not just say they acquired this company?
Because when you read it, it's difficult to tell. I mean, when you listen to it, when you read it, you understand.
Yeah.
Because the F is missing.
Lord of Motion.
I'm
I think that's it. That's time up. It's
proper tired.
amazingly, we've got 7 people watching right now.
Yeah.
Anybody out there that can hear me, thanks for watching.
MI5 people.
Go MI5. Where are you? They were having a
Anyway,
proper Bengali chat in the
yeah,
side
he
thing
was.
earlier.
He was going at it.
I don't know what they were talking about, but
I
must have
don't
been.
have a clue. It's a very different language.
Oh, we've got 8 people watching now.
Yeah.
Oh, we had what's his name? Oh, that what's his saying now? Jack,
Who's that?
my Hoff is my friend.
Who?
In the
Jack?
chat, the Alpha says, Jack, my Hoff. Jack me off. Me off. Yeah, okay. Jack me. It's my.
Oh no. I just realized what he means.
But why did you say is my friend? You didn't need to say that.
Yeah, I don't know.
You took that long to think of that? Come on, mate.
Sort it out, lad.
Sort it out. Get a grip. Kushti.
That reminds me of Only Fools and Horses. Question.
Yeah.
Lovely jubbly. I used to watch that. I didn't understand it when I was a kid.
Lovely jubbly. You done know, fam. You get me? Man's on some next tip.
Somehow
Right.
you can pull it off.
What?
The slang, I can't pull it off very well.
No. You just have to try, isn't it? Try.
People in Birmingham don't talk like that, that's why.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, they don't say bruv.
What they say?
I don't even know. Blood.
Get me blood.
You are going blood.
Blood. 30 cows in the fields. 28 chickens. How many didn't, what? What's he trying to say
This
here?
guy's a riddler.
30.
What? I'm too tired for this. You're going to be awake for ages trying to figure this out.
Nah, man. Alpha, your time's up, mate. Man's going to log off now. You had your chance. Come back next time. I think I need to ban myself from YouTube because my sleeping is just done. Yeah, big problems.
Anyway, I'm going to
All
get
right.
going then, okay?
Yes, big up, JK. Thanks for coming on, bro. Nice to have you on again.
Assalamu alaikum.
Walaikum salam wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. Okay, everyone. For those of you remaining viewing intently, awaiting some excitement. There's not much to be excited about right now. It's time for Salat al-Fajr. Inshallah, I get to go and do Salah. Wish Allah. Hopefully, take a step closer to Jannah. Allah's permission. And thank you for watching. Appreciate it. Oh, who's that? Lords of the Night, second verse, same as the first. Scribe Light, 232 watching. Oh, that's interesting. Nature Boy is now online. Well, سبحانك اللهم وبحمدك أشهد أن لا إله إلا أنت أستغفرك وأتوب إليك وصلى الله وسلم على نبينا محمد وعلى آله وأصحابه وسلم تسليما كثيرا. Thank you, everyone. I'm logging off now. And I'm going to hopefully speak to you all again soon. Assalamu alaikum.